Welcome to the Lorehounds podcast, your guides to the dragon warfare of the Targaryen family bush. I'm Elysia, just back from hanging out with some green men on the Isle of Faces.
I don't know how I feel about this family bush situation. I got to reevaluate what pod we doing here. And I'm Jean, here to defend my new favorite dragon from any and all slander. You know, I can't yet. I haven't worked out the name, but we're not going to do this sheep stealer the whole season long. We're not going to do it.
Why? Because you said that it's profiling
They
him?
profiling sheep steal. They profiling them. No. And this is our breakdown of episode 1 of season 3 of HBO's House of the Dragon, Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood.
So I am standing in as a substitute host for the first 2 weeks. Jean, you will be here all season and joined by David for episodes 3 and after.
Yes. Looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a wonderful season. The Discord is already popping. It's going to have we're going to have fun with this. It's going to be some great convos, and I think we're going to laugh a lot.
Yeah, and after when David comes back, I will be still checking in regularly. I think I'll send in voicemails each week. Great. Just lots of the Vampire Lestat and Silo going on. But if you haven't yet, dear listeners at home, I recommend checking out our season preview, which was the 3 of us together, where we gave an overview of the season to come, starting with a spoiler-free discussion before getting into trailers and eventually book discussion. This time, we will get right into the spoilers for all episodes aired to date, including this one, obviously. And that also means we're free to bring up Game of Thrones or A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I'm not sure we necessarily... Well, actually, I'm going to bring up Game of Thrones. No, in the book spoiler section, though, because there's a major book spoiler in Game of Thrones, if you don't know that yet. But we will avoid any future book spoilers in the main part of the podcast and save that for after the credits. Right now, though, unleashing all season 3 premiere spoilers. Stop listening now if you're not ready for those, because there's some major stuff happened this episode. Which, how do you feel about this being the first episode of the season versus what we all assumed that this was meant to be originally the finale of last season?
Oh, I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
it didn't bother me not in the least. It didn't.
You think it was a good way? Like,
I think it was a great way to jump into the season.
Okay,
I really do. I really felt like we jumped in right into the stakes. You know, there was no tiptoeing around what's going on. It's really on, right? We're really here. We're in the midst of this, and I think it's a great way to start because these last 2 seasons have been leading to these things happening, and I think I was totally cool with it. Totally.
Okay. All right.
How about you?
I don't know. I do think it would have worked better as a season finale, but obviously it was visually a strong season opener. Okay, we're going to get into our fresh takes for a second, but first I told you I have to shame myself. So I have to thank Abby for a gentle correction from the season preview book bitchin' section. So only people who listen to the book spoilers section heard this. It is relevant to this episode. Don't worry, no spoilers. I kept saying Bela when I meant her sister Rhaena when we were talking about this being combined with another character. So just to clarify, since it's of course very important for this episode and beyond, Bela is the older one, Daemon's older daughter, Jace's betrothed, Ride's moondancer. Rhaena is her younger sister. They're twins in the book, but they're not here. And she was the one with Rhaenyra's kids in the Vale. Seen this episode bonding with, I'm sorry, he's called Sheep Stealer. And he's the one being given storylines from a book-only character you've probably heard a lot of brouhaha about called Nettles. So on behalf of Abby and any other listeners who clocked that in the previous episode, Septa Unela would like to issue me a...
Shame.
Shame. Shame.
So, okay, now that that is cleared up, we will, if you have feedback, we also want to hear it. Gentle corrections encouraged, just elaborating on what's been discussed here. Also, warmly welcomed. We will be discussing some feedback we've already gotten about the first episode at the end of the episode. If you want to add your own for next time, please send it to HOTD at thelorehounds.com, hotd at thelorehounds.com, or you can use our website contact form, and we will include that in a future episode. Voicemails definitely encouraged. You'll hear a couple today from Dopamini. Hand of the Pod Nancy is our feedback wrangler for this show, so she will gather and organize it, and you'll hear back from her if you email it in. Let's get into the episode itself, Jean. Spoilers, of course, completely on the table. We already said this.
Yeah.
You gave some teases. You thought this was an awesome way to kick off this season. Tell me more.
Yeah.
What did you really like about this, other than, of course, your new favorite dragon?
Yeah. Besides, the sheepy,
Mhm.
we are placed right in the middle of everything that is important to these folks. And when I say that, I mean that we see how Allison and Raynara, how their relationship is really the center of everything here, because she believes that Allison is trying to avoid something here that I didn't think she was trying to avoid previously, right? Raynara is like, this is still my friend, and I really want to believe what she's telling me. And we see how the people around them are jeopardizing and sabotaging what they are trying to do. So this is very much, to me, a story of these two women, these two characters who are trying to navigate this world as best as they can to get an outcome that is, I would say, I don't know if at this point Renard wants to, destroy her entire family, her entire bloodline. You know what I mean?
Allison obviously decided she doesn't want that.
Yeah, right. So it just seems for me that this was a way to really cement that this is really about the two of them,
Yeah.
and how the people around them are continuing to fail them by withholding information, by subterfuge, all these things that they are doing behind their backs, and they're stuck with the consequences of those other people's um, shenanigans. So I just thought that this, for me, made it really clear who this story is about. This episode, it's everything else that happened. The battles, of course, they're amazing, but the core of the story is Renara and Allison.
Yeah, I do think one of the best things that this adaptation did in terms of fleshing out the history style material it's based on is, well, they aged Allison down, but in this they created that friendship, that founding friendship that we enjoyed at the beginning of the first season, and that really create so much richness and complexity for everything that follows. I think I'm not thrilled with the way women are treated in this world in general, but that's
Oh no, absolutely.
that. I mean, and like, oh, but it's historical. No,
No.
first of all, this
Yeah.
is fantasy. But I'll talk about some of that, and I saw some of that in this episode.
Yeah.
So I have some hesitancy about some things there that we can talk about a bit more as we go. But overall, like, what do I go into this show for? This is the dragon show with all that spectacle, and this was, I have in my notes here, very battle, much dragon. I do still wish this had been the finale, but I understand that it was a practical decision to move it to this season opener. It's also because like I can't help writing in my head, and I'm like, no, but if this were the
Mm,
finale, this would have been the season
right,
opener, and da 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 da
right,
da, you know.
right.
And that's on me. That's on me. It's not my job to write this show. But of course, I can't take that away from my experience as a viewer. So I do wish HBO had just put that money into
Hmm.
the end of the last season. So we went out with a bang there, and then we're starting out off with the next thing here. But
Repercussions.
yeah, but this was one of the most gorgeous hours of television that I've seen in quite some time. I watched it twice. So I watched it once on my TV and once on my computer screen, and I noticed a drastic difference. I'm like, actually, my TV's pretty nice at lighting. um, but when the lighting was on, there was just some really fantastic cinematography too. I
Absolutely.
just I loved the immaculate detail of the dragons, and I love how different they all look. I'm sure is one of the reasons you love Sheep Stealer because he looks kind of janky. He's got
I'm not going to call Sheepy janky. You know what I'm saying? We're
sorry.
not going to do that. We're not.
I do
Don't.
love an underbite. This is extreme, but I love an underbite.
I love Sheepy for many reasons. The underbite is not one of them, but there are many reasons why I love Sheepy.
I'm not gonna lie. The underbite might be one of the things that I love most about this dragon. It's kind of like it got this Habsburg jaw thing going on. Anyway,
Yes, it's very. To your point about the visuals, I don't know how much money they put into this episode.
a lot.
Yeah, it's spectacular. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
There's not one for me. There's not one scene that I thought was not just absolutely gorgeous.
Hmm.
Even when people are not fighting, even when they're not
Mm-hmm.
riding the dragons, everything just looked scrumptious on the TV screen for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes to show you when you know the people with the money put the money into the product, the kind of product that you can actually get, because the story and the visuals for me matched. Sometimes we get the visuals and we're like, oh, it's with the story, but everything here just really worked, in my opinion. And just seeing, you know, Sheepy and seeing Moon Dancer and just the way that they maneuvered in the air over the ships, it's just really, really something else. And then we get the elderly, Starks, the elder wolves,
The
that
winter
come through.
wolves. Yeah.
Yeah, the winter wolves. I call them the elder wolves, and when they come through banging, and it's a host of them, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, yeah, these. And I'm looking, and for a minute, it was just like, oh, wait a minute, everybody's kind of like above 60. There's reasons for that,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure we'll talk about that, but
Mm-hmm.
it just looked, coming out of the forest, when they came out the forest, Damon's face when he called his soldiers to arms to get ready for another battle, and the relief that he shows when they declare their allegiance, it's just great stuff.
Mm. Yeah, if I'm gonna have one criticism, it's not enough Starks. In general in this show. The show, like, because I was so excited when Jay Saris went up to the wall,
Yes,
I was like,
yes.
oh, we're gonna get a whole episode up there, and no. um, but no, I mean, they have to focus. We'll talk about some decisions that they made, adaptation choices, because
Hmm.
obviously, um, making this battle like this episode like this, it takes so much planning and coordination. Obviously, we talked about the money. Yeah, shout out to VFX producer Thomas Horton, who I believe oversaw especially this battle. Just an enormous amount of practical VFX too. I'll put a link to a video in the show notes about how they put all of this together. But I'll say I am, I'm very pro practical, and that was great how they did that. But I do notice as I was going through my favorite shots from this episode that I was like, oh, I really like what they did with the CGI, huh? I there's this soft lighting throughout. That's not all CGI, of course, but but I love the water shots. I'm a sucker for a water shot. So like all the gullet shots, and especially there's this
Oh
God's
gosh.
eye
Yeah.
water shot as they come and you see Harrenhal in the distance, and it's just beautiful. Although my favorite shot overall, again, we're in the spoiler section, is when Alan is under the boat and he's just killed Lohar and she's sinking into the water, and the way that light hits and the way that
Yeah.
the remnants of the boat are framing him, I'm like, I
Gorgeous.
watched. I don't want to I'm a little sad about Lohar dying because she's an interesting character I would have liked to have seen more of, especially what we saw of her last season. But I watched her die over and over just because I love that shot. But yeah, when it comes to the characters, though, you know me, we are always getting into discussions. I'm always defending some questionable characters. I am not defending any of these people except maybe Alice. I did defend Alice Withers in the chat. But in general, yeah, these people. I don't know. At some point, I'm like, sheep stealer. You're right. Burn them all. Just burn them all.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. When they're on the ship with Alan and the Sir Steve Snake, that whole conversation that they have at the table. I just wanted to reach through the screen and choke out Corliss. You know what I mean? Just like so condescending, and I think he's actually trying not to be, which made it more infuriating. And Alan, the look on his face as he, listens to this, drivel coming from this man. And then he watches him on the ship. It's high tide, it's burning, right? And then he sees him like freeze in the moment, like totally looking at his father diminished in that moment. And he rises up to the occasion to rally, the crew to repel the attack. And then that moment is just like, yeah, your father is not all that, and you know it, but right now it just cemented it, right? But then Corliss does something that totally won me over again. They're standing at the bow. He's directing his helmsman to steer the ship, right? And he sees he can't do it. He sees he's afraid. He sees that he's not up to the task. And he doesn't berate him. He doesn't yell at him. He doesn't do any of those things. He just softly puts his hand on the steer, moves his hand aside, and takes command. And I said, God damn. Sea Snake is in the motherfucking house.
I appreciate that they reminded us that he is a master shipsman.
Yes. I said, God damn, Sea Snake is in the motherfucking house. Just one-handed steering that joint like, yeah, I needed a soundtrack to that. You know what I'm saying? Like put on some Jay, put on some Biggie to that. They just like
listen, Lohar, these are my waters. You came to my part of town.
Yeah. I was like, yo, this is so. And in that moment, it was just like you see in the span of, whatever, 20 minutes of viewing on TV, somebody can go from, oh, get this motherfucker out of here, to wow, look at this motherfucker. Two motherfuckers, but totally different intent in my words, in the way that I'm saying it, and it's just really a testament to how the story is being shown to us. And I think there are many small scenes that mean a lot to me and things that we view. And this was one of those.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I loved that he took the wheel there as well. Um, yeah, I mean, you were just making me think because I think like for me the most frustrating thing is like I would make the subtitle of this episode "Boys, stop thinking you know better than your mothers," and stop underestimating them. So it is interesting to contrast, particularly Eamon and Jace and their what goes on with their mothers with
Mm-hmm.
Alan and
His father.
Corliss.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Parallel journeys of generational trauma.
Generational trauma, man.
All right. Let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, we're going to go a plot by backstabbing plot and our deep dive through this episode. Be right back. Okay, we're going to be talking plot by plot, not scene by scene. Jean, take us away with your favy.
Stealing sheep. I mean, at the end of season 2, Rhaena Targaryen slipped away as her young half-brothers boarded a boat to Pentos, determined to find and tame the wild sheep-stealing dragon living in the Vale. Eventually bonding with this sheep stealer over charred lamb, she mounts the massive dragon and is carried off to a ledge, where sheep stealer brings back livestock for the two of them to share. Rhaena thinks this is a great time to bring her feral dragon home for show and tell.
First of all, I'll just say we'll talk about this more in the book spoiler section, but I was really surprised. I think all book readers were surprised that there was no mention of Aegon and Viserys and their ship that they abandoned. So I don't know if we are just supposed to think they just got to Pentos. I guess that's what I'll assume for now
Yeah,
until I'm told otherwise. Yeah.
yeah, they have to let us know what happened to the boys. So
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point, I wasn't too pressed about not knowing. What I was pressed about is, man, Rhaena man, she's struggling out here. She is struggling out here. And I mean, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't like the book change.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about it later, I guess. But
Yeah, we said she's combined with another character.
yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. But yeah, she's gone through it, and seeing her, I don't know if it's overcoming fear or what they're trying to tell us about her and her, dance with Sheep Stealer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still kind of confused as to who she is.
Yeah. Maybe to be fair, she is as well.
Yeah, maybe.
It's interesting, yeah, because she is also in the book kind of portrayed as a more timid one,
Yeah,
whereas the
a lot more pampered.
character she's being combined with is very much not that.
Exactly. I think she's a little,
Mm-hmm.
princessy in the
Yeah.
princessy way that people think about princesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to have her not be that is kind of jarring to me.
Yeah. I guess to her too. I guess it shows her desperation to, you know, claim her right as a Targaryen or something. Um, I do love that Sheepy feeds her like a baby bird. Like, I know you can't hunt on your own, so here, blah, here's
Yeah,
some food.
take that.
I tried to pause and see what kind of animals it was. It was tough to tell, but maybe some sort of dog.
I don't know.
But it's sweet,
They
yeah.
got Sheepy taking everything.
Sheepy, you got to bring back some water too next time, though. That's even more important. She needs some hydration.
Oh gosh, she needs some hydration. She's gone through it. She
Yeah.
out of all the characters right now, she's gone through it. Like
Well,
abandoned.
yeah. We'll talk about Aegon soon, but yeah.
Before that, but just abandoned and left to on her own and totally lost.
I mean, she wasn't abandoned. She snuck off. She was like, "I'm not going with you to protect these kids. I'm gonna go dragon hunting."
Uh, okay. All right, I'll give you that. That's okay. All right. All right. All right. That's true. That's true. She could have been on Pentos. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so I mean, I guess it is like a character journey that she chose. She could have be living that princess life on Pentos, and she chose,
Not to.
yeah, something else. Yeah.
But we still don't know why though. Because it is a big it's a big decision to have her make. And
Yeah.
I'm still wondering, she it isn't clear to me why she chose the path that she chose.
I mean, I think it's just like she wants to fit in with her family, I think, to a certain degree too, you know? She's like, "I'm a Targaryen, where's my dragon?" Yeah.
Hmm.
She gets a different small dragon in the book that's probably not going to be in this show. So she has a somewhat similar journey in the book, but in a more pampered princess way. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of royalty, let's talk about the royal fugitive. Laris has escaped King's Landing with King question mark Aegon, who is still crippled by the pain of his full body burn. Their carriage is stopped by soldiers from House Staunton, a house loyal to Rhaenyra. While Laris is happy to pretend fealty to the Black Queen, Aegon can't bring himself to swear or even fake allegiance to his older sister, and the guards are ordered to kill the obvious Aegon supporters. In a bid to save their lives, Laris tells the head guard that this is the real Aegon, telling him to pull the crown of Aegon the Conqueror out of their bag as proof. Laris convinces the guard that he and Aegon are worth more to them as living hostages than dead, but the rest of their entourage are nobodies who can die in their place. What did you think of this storyline?
Um. Yeah, Loris is a POS, right?
Always out for number
Just
one.
yeah, yeah, and you know, I recognize that in the the shows, you always have to have this sort of character. This what's the Russian priest's name? Um,
Rasputin?
Rasputin. Excuse me, Rasputin. You always have to
Mm-hmm.
have this sort of character that is always trying to pull the strings so that they can get ahead without the royalty knowing that they're really just trying to get ahead. You know what I mean? So he's really so good in his role. Like he is the epitome of someone that you don't want to make an enemy of because this is a person that will do any and everything to win.
Mm.
And I think Aegon is taken aback by that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could you do this to me?
Let me
Huh?
ask you, do you think Laris actually forgot the milk of the poppy? Or is this a way to try to control Aegon? Or is it a way to try to keep Aegon's mind sharper while they're fleeing?
Try to control him. I don't think he forgot it.
Or is it sadistic? Because he's like, listen, yeah, keep calling me cripple. See
Yeah,
if
I
I find
don't.
any milk of the poppy for you.
Yeah, I don't think he forgot it. I don't know if it's sadistic, but I do know it's meant to keep Aegon in a state where he's off balance.
Mm. Do you think Laris has anyone in the world he actually likes or admires or even loves?
No,
I mean, if not his brother and his father, who he killed
no,
horribly.
no, no,
Not Alicent.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, because he would destroy her to gain.
Hmm.
If it were to gain him something, he would destroy her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'll say it's interesting that it's House Staunton who stopped them because they are the house in control of a place called Rook's Rest, which is where we last saw Aegon's uh, dragon
Dragon.
Sunfire,
Yeah.
who was Aegon assumes Sunfire has died because of the injuries from the battle at last season. Um, yeah, it's just interesting. I wonder what they're doing with the plot because, and I say this with genuine wonder as a book reader because they are doing their own thing in their own order, mixing things up. So I really don't know. I will say one thing that's different in the book is Laris also got Aegon's surviving children, Jaehaera and Maelor, out of the house, and
Mhm.
Maelor is the son who, after the Blood and Cheese episode, George R. R. Martin posted that blog post saying, like, these things have not having Nettles, not having Baylor, these things have rolling forward consequences. And we would have seen those consequences come into play with one of the most horrific death scenes.
Deaths, yeah. And I'm kind of glad that we didn't see it.
I mean, I wonder if that's one reason why they didn't do it, is they didn't want
Hmm.
to have like a horrible child death.
That's possible. That's really possible.
But that death also has consequences that roll forward. So, yeah.
That's really possible. Hmm.
Yeah. So, but that is obviously different. So Jaehaera is still in the castle with Alicent and her mother Helena, and Maelor just doesn't exist. And obviously, the other brother was killed with the blood and cheese thing. We know, I brought up House Staunton, that they are from Rook's Rest, but they say they're taking Aegon to Dragonstone via Duskendale. My only question about that is I thought Kristen Cole already sacked Duskendale last season. So if any listeners remember that bit, I'm not sure if maybe House Staunton doesn't know this for some reason, or yeah, we'll see. Or if anyone says I'm misremembering that.
I don't remember. So please call us,
Please
write
let us
in,
know.
Discord us,
As you
any of
said,
those things.
gentle corrections always welcome.
Email. Yeah, we're here for it.
Yeah. All right. Let's turn to Allison's other son. You want to set us up?
Sure, sure. Son of Alicent. Alicent, back from her trip to visit Rhaenyra at the end of season 2, is surprised to find Aegon has absconded from the castle and her younger son, Aemon the One-Eye, is sitting on the throne, claiming his brother has abdicated. Alicent, knowing she's promised Rhaenyra she would leave the gate to King's Landing open to her so that this horrible feuding between their families can end, asks why Aemon isn't at Harrenhal as planned. Aemon, though, has been told by his dreamer sister that he will die at the god's eye. So he's less keen on this idea. So Alicent forges a letter from Aemon to send her cousin, Ormond Hightower, asking him to delay the Hightower army's march.
So I think it's interesting that Aemon, it seemed like he was more sympathetic to Lucerys when he kind of he kind of accidentally, because like we see in this show, I do like this edition also that we see that the Targaryens do not have magical control of their dragons. And so we saw uh, Aemon was like, oh shit, when Vagar killed
Yes.
Lucerys and yeah, his dragon Arx. Um, and now we see, not, I don't know, it's hard to tell sometimes how much time has passed in the show, but it seems like he's gotten a lot more bloodthirsty and power hungry. And do you think it's like, has he always hated his brother more than Jaehaerys because his brother's kind of a dick? Or do you think it's just a reflection of how Aemond has become more twisted inside?
I think a little bit of both. I've always felt that he resented his brother's ascension to the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know he's, you know, felt the ways about Alicent favoring his brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a
I mean,
little
he's
bit
its
of,
older brother. It's, yeah, it's what's
yeah,
done.
but that's,
Yeah.
I know, but you know, from his standpoint, his viewpoint, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, this isn't fair. You know what I'm saying? He could love me a little bit too, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there is a bit of sadistic, blood curdling villainy to Haemon at this point. Um, but to your question about, or your statement about not having control over
Mm-hmm.
the dragons, is it, do you think it's because he didn't hatch the dragon?
No, I think it's just that dragons are animal. They're independent. They have their own minds. It's like I have two cats here in this room, and I can communicate with them and I
Hmm.
can direct them to do things. And most of the time, to be honest, they will do what I direct them to do because we have a
Yes.
bond and they trust me and they know that it's usually like going to work out well for them. There's going to be food involved or something. Um, but it doesn't mean that I can, I think that I always think of dragons like giant cats. They can be loving, but they're independent and they have their own minds. And at the end of the day, you can't pretend that you can control the flying nuclear bomb with a brain.
I'm trying to in in the show in the shows I should say,
Hmm.
who does not have a dragon that they hatched?
Um, quite a few. I mean, Vagar obviously. All right, right here. I
Yes.
put a current dragon tally at the bottom. We'll come back to this,
Okay.
but let me just see. Um, I mean, yeah,
Because I'm
most
thinking
of them, to be honest, most of them.
most of them. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. All
Especially
right.
that are still alive because the
The older,
dragons.
you're right.
Hmm.
They're so aged. Okay. All right.
Although we get this quote from Helena that I think is great. She says, after he claimed Vagar, he forgot what fear was, referring to Aemond, of course. But he remembers now. He knows that if he has to face Rhaenyra's dragons, he'll die. And I think, yeah, I thought, I know you are lining up rocks for Allison to kick, and I understand. I'm with you. Um, but in a twisted way, watching her manipulation of her son in this episode was masterful.
Yeah, in a twisted way. Yes, twisted is the key word
I
in
mean,
the
it's hard to
sentence.
feel bad for him. He almost
No, I
beheaded
don't.
Grand
No, no.
Maester Orwyle for what reason?
But
For what reason?
it goes back to your point. There are who is redeemable in this world
Hmm.
that we're watching
Hmm.
and enjoying so much. Who is the redeemable character?
Yeah.
Everyone has done horrific things.
Hmm.
So
But I mean, yeah, I think Allison knows how to play her son like a fiddle, and it's
yes,
entertaining to
absolutely.
watch. I'll give it that because
Yes.
he's like, yeah, he obviously wants a throne. He's clutching Blackfire, this sword of Aegon the Conqueror that he took from his brother, and he's like, it's mine now. It like basically he's like Gollum, um, and she knows how to play that. She's like, you should have been
It
king, and just the flattery of like I don't obviously she wants him to go, but okay, here's the question. We'll get
yes.
to the people waiting to ambush him, but what do you think why do you think she wants him to go? She wants to be does she want there to not be battle at King's Landing where a bunch more people die and he dies? Um or does she know about the ambush? I guess not.
I my initial thought was that she set up a agreement with Rhaenyra to end this war with the best possible outcome for her and her children. I do not believe in my heart of hearts that when she set this up, it was with Aemond in mind.
Mm.
I
I
I
mean, she thought he
I
was just she didn't expect him to be there, that's for
no,
sure.
she didn't expect him to be there, but if he dies, I think she recognizes that he's sadistic.
Mm.
I, I think she sees it. And it's given very Norman Bates and his mom to me.
Mhm.
Right. And that's the thought that I had in their scene together.
Mm.
Like, this is a mother who knows that her son is a sadist, is, you know, and will needle him at different points in order to bring it out
As it serves her.
as it serves her.
Yeah.
As
I
it serves
mean,
her.
but it's also at the same time we got that throwback to the end of last season where she shows up. She's been warning Rhaenyra or telling her like, come to King's Landing, I'll set it up so you can just like walk right in, which obviously huge betrayal to her family, not from the book,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
But Aemond now is like, where have you been, mother? And I have to laugh every time I see her deer in the headlights look, where she just pauses for an awkward amount of time, like, I was in the Godswood because you told me that woman's place wasn't in the warring room or whatever, in the council. So like, I can't help but be on her side, I guess, especially as a woman, but at the same time, I can't read what genuine affection she might have for her children. Or if she just like thinks that both sons are lost cause. Like, Helena's still a nice girl, both the sons lost cause.
I think that I'm not going to say that she doesn't love her children, right? I won't say that. But I think she does make decisions about who is worth keeping around and in what capacity she keeps them around. Like, she's very strategic with the placement of her children around her.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't personally, I would not be able to function as a well-adjusted human being if my mom were like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's given her children a modicum of love as much as she can give, but what she's also given them is a tremendous amount of fuel to not only hurt her, but to hurt people around her. Because that's the way this world operates. We're going to hurt people before they can hurt us. And she made a great big step in trying to break that pattern by making this deal with Rhaenyra. Right? She said, I'm going to stop trying to hurt you so we can stop trying to hurt each other. They came to that agreement. And now that Aemon, her son, who is totally not about that, he's not about that, right? He is here and she sees that everything that she has just worked at, poof, it's gone just because of his mere presence. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta be so painful. That's gotta be so like, fuck, what do I do now? What do I do now? How do I salvage this? How do I make this right?
What did you think about the addition of the kiss moment?
Oh, God. Gosh. Just so icky and totally expected from him, quite honestly. Not surprising. And she recognizes the power imbalance. And that's what makes it even more disgusting.
I need you to start watching The Vampire Lestat. But start at the beginning. Start with Interview with the Vampire. Watch the first two seasons. They're on Netflix. And then jump into The Vampire Lestat. And I have to say, all of the Vampire Lestat fans, when this happened in the show, were giggling because we're like,
why?
Yeah, Lestat says, hold my blood and fire and let me show you what mommy issues look like.
Oh my. Oh, goodness gracious.
It seemed very chaste. But but it is important. I do think, I know people have controversial feelings about it being added. And, and I have also said that with all of the Targaryen incest, the mother-child would be the worst. And
yes,
at least in this case, it's not coming from her, but the fact that she's willing to allow it to happen to manipulate him, maybe that is to save his life because she's just like trying to be like, get out the door and go. Rhaenyra's dragons are coming. but also just
Is she
Olivia
trying to
Cook's.
save in this moment? Let me ask you a question. Is she trying to save his life or hers?
I think in this moment she's trying to save
Or
his life.
the whole family's
I mean,
life?
this is all part of her plan. Like, you're not supposed to be here. Rhaenyra's coming with those dragons that you're afraid of to the door, so you guts to go. Allison's face also with like that eye acting, but it was also like she saw him leaning in and just stayed still
Stay.
for it. Did
Yeah.
not, just the manipulation and obvious like I don't know, but
I didn't. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I do think that it's important to who Aemond is as a character. We've seen him. I understand people say it's like kind of problematic to portray his mommy issues this way, but like we saw, for example, his relationship in the past with a brothel owner named
Right.
Sylvie,
Yes.
who it just felt like he was getting mothering out of her. So he's
Yes.
obviously has some weird perverse. He's tying those two things together.
Yeah.
Or I think it's just like in a way of seeking her ultimate approval.
I don't know, but I didn't think in the moment that she was manipulating him. I really felt in that moment she was fearful.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
got
I
yeah,
can see both. Yeah. Working
yeah.
on those stores. Yeah.
She looked horrified. She looked horrified and resigned to the fact that shit, this is what I've raised.
Yeah. I do wish we got more from Helena in this show overall. Justice for the unseen Dreamfire dragon. Just to quote George R. R. Martin's blog, he said, "In the book, she is a plump, pleasant, and happy young woman, cheerful and kindly, adored by the small folk, a dragon rider since the age of 12. Helena's greatest joy in life is to take to the skies on the back of her dragon Dreamfire. None of the strangeness she displays in the show is in evidence in the book, nor is her gift for prophecy. Those were born in the writer's room, but once I met the show's version of Helena, I could hardly take issue. Fia Saban's Helena is a richer and more fascinating character than the one I created in Fire and Blood." So I agree. So I want to see her like,
Still want to see her fly a dragon.
yeah.
You know?
And the thing is, she stopped flying her dragon when the blood and cheese thing happened. So I'm like, so we're past that? And I understand it's probably a budgetary thing
But
because
this
there's
is
so
a
many damn dragons. They're
but it's a
expensive.
big part of her character though.
I know, I know.
It's
So it's a
such a big
shame.
part.
It's a shame that, it's just knowing that there's like this theoretical dragon that exists there. I don't think we're going to see Dreamfire at all because, well, actually, I think, anyway, yeah, there's one thing where we might.
Okay. Okay.
All right, let's take a quick pause here. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that ambush that's waiting for Aemond and the revelations that come out in that scene. Be right back. Okay, waiting for Aemond. Team Black's Dragon Seeds, Adam, Sea Smoke's rider, Hugh Hammer, rider of Vermithor, and Ulf the White, Silver Wings rider, wait on the Isle of Faces for Aemond and Vhagar to arrive on Vhagar so that they can ambush them. But Aemond, of course, never arrives. Alice Rivers, however, the so-called Witch of Harrenhal, does show up, urging them to leave. So it is. Why do you think Alice wanted them to leave? Like, does she seemed to be helpful to Damon last season? So, is she really Team Black, or was this just like a get off my lawn because the Isle of Faces is supposed to be a protected religious site? No, she's like, don't come tromping around here with your dragons.
Get off my lawn. Very much get off my lawn. Like, you guys are not welcome here. Please leave. Like, I don't know what y'all doing here, but this is not the place for you to be. So the quicker you can mosey on and fly these dragons out, the better off we'll all be. So yeah, I thought when she came through, she was so cool. You know what I mean? The look on her face was like, man, like who are you? I'm a witch. I laughed when she said that. I'm a witch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she called herself a witch. I said, I think when Alice calls herself a witch in this episode, she means, I know what my reputation is and I'm spooking you right now. So to like get them to go out of there. But,
Yeah.
and she knows if she's like, yeah, I'm a witch, that they'll take her more seriously because she was very much trying to spook them. There was another goat sighting. And yeah, we'll talk about also the green man that popped up
Yes.
that spooked
Yes.
them. We're going to talk about both those things in the feedback section, so don't worry, we're not ignoring them. But I think also, I do think it was like the get off the protected aisle thing, but I do also think we saw last season she basically showed Damon the end of Game of Thrones because she's like, there's something much greater at risk here, and I think at least at this point, it seems that she thinks helping Damon or Team Black in general in the short run helps move the entire story toward the goal of defeating the Night King, basically.
Mm.
It's kind of wild if you think about it. Like, I just thinking about like the history of Westeros, and it's just one wave of conquering after another. And then it's like, well, who are you to say that the Night King is worse than the Andals or the first men before them? Right?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, but I'm gonna stand 10 toes down and say the Night King's worse.
If you're killing everyone in your path, what's the difference, really?
I would say the Night King's worse. I don't want to. If I die, don't bring me back to just be a mindless
Yeah, okay,
ice zombie creep. I don't want to do that. No.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. The fact that he's controlling, people against their wills, that's a problem too. Especially, yeah. Uh, what else is a problem? We got some heavy backstories from two
Yeah.
of our dragon seeds here. So we already knew that Hugh we learned previously, he is the bastard son of Princess Sarah Targaryen, who basically was one of Jaehaerys's daughters. So in the book, Jaehaerys is he's kind of arguably the best of the Targaryens. He's was the grandson of Aegon the Conqueror, and his father and uncle were kind of tore apart the realm in their contention for the throne, where his uncle was Maegor the Cruel, so he was especially bad. And then Jaehaerys comes, and he's immediately, like, even as a teenager, he's like, I have opinions, I want to bring peace to the realm, and he achieves this long peace. But still, even him, he's a shitty father. He's a
Right.
shitty girl dad, I'll say, at
Right.
least.
Right.
Because he basically like slut shamed his daughter Sarah into brothel work, and Hugh was apparently born out of that. And now he's riding his grandfather Jaehaerys's dragon Vermithor. So that's interesting. And that makes him first cousins with Ulf the White, who is we find out he never knew his mother, but he always said that his father was Balon the Brave. And so Ulf rides his grandmother's, Balon's mother's dragon, Silverwing. Now, do you think that dragons can smell? And would be a show thing, but why not? Do you think that they can like smell genetics and that they choose someone who is genetically similar to the previous rider? Because we also have, for example, Sea Smoke choosing Laenor's half brother, Adam.
Yeah, I was asking myself why two of the arguably most powerful dragons, at least in terms of size, right? They're they're two of the biggest dragons, right? Why would they choose Ulf and Hugh as opposed to someone who
I mean,
is?
I understand Hugh, but why Ulf?
I mean,
Yeah,
that's just yeah, right. But why them? And I don't know if it's because of what you just said that they can sense like a genetic marker from a previous rider,
hmm
because it just to me, it didn't make sense for the two of them to be able to claim two of the oldest and most powerful of the dragons.
Yeah.
I never understood why.
No, and I suppose we didn't get that much time with the claiming process too, so it happened rather quickly. But I'm going with headcanon genetic
Mm-hmm.
smelling. Like, yeah,
That's
you smell like
yeah.
someone I
We
loved.
could do it. We could do that.
Yeah,
We could do
yeah.
that.
I do have problems with the fact that like we have this Princess Sarah backstory, where once again we have, I'll say George R. R. Martin has written some fantastic female characters in this world, but it is also true that owning and working in brothels is one of the only ways women are allowed to
To get
exert
ahead.
power
Yep.
in Westeros.
Yeah.
Outside of Dorne, I'll say Dorne is better about that. And I just think that there could be more variety in that storytelling, because while it is true that there's been truth to that in the past, there's also you don't have to have a dragon and choose violence or choose sex. There are, even in places where, I don't know, I just would like, where's the journalist of Westeros? So that's sort of like who's carving out that kind of life.
No, I think I agree with you. I think there are many ways that, you know, women throughout history, when oppressed, have been able to wield power without being a dragon rider or a sex worker. And we should see more of those options available to the characters that we're watching on screen or reading about. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
fact. To relegate them to violence or sex work is just, it's just not true, right? And we can expand our fantasy by
Right.
including so much more variety in people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like the way sexism is portrayed in this world just normalizes it in a way that bothers me. Like, oh no, it's just okay. That's how things work. And like, no, no.
Right, right,
Anyway, I'll
right.
stop harping on that. We got some other disturbing backstory from Ulf. We found out that basically there was a red priest, so think like Melisandre, the serving Rolor, the Lord of Light from Essos. And this priest was attracted to Ulf, said he had the blood of kings, and it sounds like paid him for sexual favors. This was during Ulf's childhood in Flea Bottom, which is a place that probably sucks most in this world out of all the places we have described for us.
Yep.
So this backstory is new for the show, and it is something like I'm going to get back to it in a minute, but I have to be perfectly honest, and I promise this is the last time during the breakdown I'm going to bring this up. But this had the misfortune of coming out on the same day as what John and I called the best episode of the year,
Oh my.
which is episode 3 of The Vampire Lestat, which has one of the most. And I'm not going to spoil that episode. Obviously, not.
Okay.
I'm not going to
Okay.
spoil it, but I am going to share the content warning that was generally shared before this came in, and also a recommendation to watch it anyway. It's one of the most complex and nuanced, and somehow like one moment funny before being stunningly devastating portrayals of the aftermath of sexual assaults that I've ever seen on screen. So, like, I've watched that episode like 3 times now, did like a deep breakdown
So should I
of
just
that.
we just pause so I can go watch?
Yeah, just watch all 2.5 seasons,
Yeah,
and then
let
we'll
me
be
just
back.
pause. And we'll be back.
But so I'll say that like that, and that's unfair to this show, that it like to that, rich, powerful, for me, cathartic exploration there, that, if you're interested, watch the show. You can hear John and I talk about it on the Vampire Lestat podcast. So then when this one came out, I was like, oh, okay, you too? Which is not the way it should be. And I think it is because this show does, it's not superficial. I don't think it's superficial, because we've obviously been having a lot of deep character conversations, but I think the size of the cast and the fact that so much emphasis is also on how do we work this dragon budget to make this story works, I sometimes it just doesn't necessarily have this, like, things like this just get skimmed over quickly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I will say, like, so I was like, okay, stop thinking about that episode of the Vampire Lestat and just think about Ulf's story on its own. And like Lestat, you know, his abuse is intrinsically tied to the thing that gives him this liberating power. And in this case, you know, it's the dragon blood. And
Right.
the question is, like, would he even have gone for the dragons without the priest telling him he's special? Because he wouldn't have been going around saying I'm a dragon seed if the priest hadn't told him that growing up, basically.
Yeah, that's a.
But and then, you know, we see, like, this guy was complimenting this kid who had nothing, who came from nothing, and all liked to hear that he was special. And so he did this thing that probably he didn't necessarily want to do, or, you know, he didn't say, like, oh, I thought this older priest was hot.
Right. Right.
He this priest was giving him something that probably sticks
Was
with him.
grooming him. Was grooming him. He was groomed.
He was grooming him. Yeah.
He was
But
groomed.
also he gave Ulf nice words when he needed to hear them, and no one else was giving it to him. So you can
Exactly.
see there's like this self-disgust mixed with hope for something better, and that's kind of the most insidiously gross thing about it.
Right. Right. I don't know if it's an interesting question to ask. Would he have gone if he knew of his lineage? I without the priest, and he knew where he came from, I still believe he would have gone when the call came out.
I don't know that he knew without the priest, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. I said it,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah,
So if he knew,
Mhm.
if he did know, without the priest, I think he would have gone.
Yeah. But okay, now that we've given the nuanced time for Ulf, I'll say I still don't like the dude. I mean, I love him as a character. He's interesting. I find him a very interesting character, a wild card, and yeah, obviously a character that I worry about interacting with the other characters because he seems very selfish. And we hear now he's just learned that knights don't get castles, and he's very upset about it. But I have a lot
I would
of
be upset too. I would be upset too. Like, I want a castle. Why can't I get a car?
Yeah, sure. I'm upset I don't have a castle, but I didn't expect someone to give it to me.
I'm riding the dragon. I deserve a castle. What are you talking about? I want a castle. Yes.
What he said specifically, I have so many mixed feelings about. He says men would have to show me respect because of the big fucking dragon. I can't live in a title or drink it. So the part of that resonates with me is I can't live in a title, and you know, makes me think of like I'm a freelance writer, and you know how many people are like, "Oh, I'll give you exposure," and like, well, that doesn't pay the rent. So
Right.
like, I
Right.
get, you know, the same vibes. I get that. But and I understand, like, because he felt powerless in this childhood that we were just discussing, that's probably explains a lot of why he wants to have this unequivocal, like, well, respect me or my dragon will scorch you thing. But it's just, to me, there's a weakness of character in that if you have to hide behind a dragon for respect.
Of course. Yes, absolutely. Which makes, people the worst. You give people who have not gone through their trauma the ability to really harm others. A lot of times they will harm others because he hasn't dealt with his trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Elf is not. I would not have wanted Elf to have a dragon.
It wouldn't have been my choice. No.
You're right.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't say, yeah, Elf, you get a dragon. No.
No. Absolutely
You're
not.
You're not the type we need to be riding out here with dragons. You know what I'm saying? Nah. No, bro. Not you.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, do you want to set up Damon and the Winter Wolves?
Yeah, Damon and the Winter Wolves, or as I like to call them, the elder wolves or the unks from up north. You know what
The
I'm saying?
unks from up north.
Meanwhile, Daemon defeats the Lannister army in battle, and Team Black's allies from the north, the Winter Wolves, deliver Jason Lannister's head to him.
So first of all, fantastic work on creating that practical lion model.
Oh gosh, yes.
But in universe, leave the poor lion alone.
Exactly, yes. That's what I'm saying. No, we can tame the lion. We could,
Yeah,
we could let the
like
lion
just
roam. It's okay.
just like had to ride around in these shitty small Lannister
Yeah, it's
cages.
not
Like
his fault.
poor lion.
It's not the lion's fault, man.
No. So yeah, the assumption is they didn't name it, but this must be the Battle of the Red Fork because that's where Jason Lannister dies in the book. Jason being the Lannister twin who tried to propose to Rhaenyra when she was
Yeah.
young, but then was icked out when she was covered in boar's blood. And it's like, if you don't like her and uncovered in boar's blood, you don't deserve her. Dressed as a princess. Um, so yeah, we're not super sad about losing Jason. We'll talk about his brother obviously later. I have questions about his status. But then yeah, the Roderick Dustin, Roddy the Ruin, as he's known, shows up and tosses Jason's head at Damon's feet as he thought he's gotten away, and he's got the Winter Wolves behind him. So you referenced this earlier. What's the deal with the Winter Wolves? Why are they called that? Where did they come from?
Oh, they're Starks, Bannermen, and they come from the north.
Yeah,
And
but why?
so they can die. Winter's coming. Winter's always coming.
Mhm.
Less mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Less mouths to feed. So the unks from up north came to fight and die so those they left behind can survive without the extra mouths to feed in the winter. That's some hardcore shit.
That is some hardcore shit. It's sad. If Grandpa's
It's
leaving,
so
is Grandpa
sad.
coming back? Probably
No,
not.
not even
Probably not.
probably not. No. You just gotta tell them no. Because they're not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they survive a battle, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
Sad. Sad and harsh. But they are so resigned to their purpose, you know, not just to have Rhaenyra on the throne, but their purpose to the north. In death, there is purpose. And we provide for our loved ones as we die. That's some
And they're
shit.
like, we like dressing in black, so we choose Team Black. No, it's obviously because Jacaerys went up there, and we should have seen him courting them more, but we saw a little bit. We saw a little bit of him at the wall.
Right.
I liked seeing Oscar Tully back. He's given me remember Lyanna Mormont from
Oh,
Bear
yeah.
Island in the
Yeah.
original show,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
first Bella Ramsey
Yes.
role. Yeah, Oscar Tully's giving me those vibes. Another young kid who last season we saw him put Damon in his place, and here he is. Like, he's also. I was talking about Jaehaerys. I feel like Jaehaerys was probably like that as a teen too, just very self-assured. Like I deserve respect. I have a good head on my shoulders. I know I'm young, but still. And I find this exchange he had with Damon interesting because they have a field full of dead bodies, and Damon's like, let's just burn them all and be done. Keeps it clean and simple to do. And Oscar is like, no, Rivermen must be returned to the mud. You return your Targaryens to fire. We return ours to the mud.
Right.
And Damon, of course, rolls his eyes, which is it's just a small thing to show that how Targaryens, they expect others to respect their traditions, like incest, which has caused wars in the past. But they, don't return that same respect to the customs and cultures of others.
Yeah. It's very, yeah. A lot of ruling classes don't, right? Some incorporate other people's ways and cultures into the greater scheme, but then most others completely wash away what was there before so they can do as we do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, yeah, to the spoils go the victor, right?
Right, right.
Everything you knew is no longer, respected or necessary even. But yeah, it's a harsh reality. It's a harsh reality. But I like that Oscar was like, nah, that's not what we're doing. No, no. They died for your cause, and we're gonna respect our traditions.
Yeah. Yeah, and, I think the fact that, like, I don't think Damon would have been able to win that handily, even with the Winter Wolves showing up, if Team Green weren't spread all over the freaking place right now. Because we've
Agree.
got obviously Aemond hanging back at the castle, with his big dragon. We've got, the Lannisters here. We're here. Ruh-roh. Um and our other Team Green reinforcements, Kristen Cole had orders to march on Harrenhal, but he knows it's another death trap unless he waits for at least Aemond and his dragon to arrive. Meanwhile, the rest of the Green Army, the 15,000 Hightower reinforcements, wait upon quote unquote King Aemond's alleged commands. So basically, yeah, Alicent was just like, sit tight. Why do you think she did that? To avoid battle or to lure Aemond out of the castle, or why did she tell them just stay where you are?
Because she still wants Renara to come through. But if
Yeah.
she happens to come through with the with the Hightower, army laying in wait, then she's basically, you know, led her into a trap.
Mm.
And I think she's trying to avoid that that look. She's not trying to give, oh, I lied to you and everything that I said was to get you here so we could kill you.
Hmm. Yeah. I guess it's interesting. So we've got this pairing of Kristen Cole and Gawain Hightower, which is a show thing putting them together, and I like that. I wish they gave us more like odd couple energy time between them. But of course, Gawain is Alicent's brother. Do you, I think it seems like Alicent, she might love her brother more than her sons. Can I posit that?
Yeah, 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 yes.
So maybe she is just trying to, like, if I keep the armies apart, she doesn't care about losing Lannisters, but she can protect the parts of it she cares about, which are the High Towers and her own people.
Can I confess something?
Hmm.
I would not I would not be upset at all if I never have to lay eyes on Christian Cole again. I would not be upset if I never saw Christian Cole on screen again. I hate that guy. I just I I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to grow. But oh, I can't stand that guy. I can't stand him with every fiber of my being. His condescending, swarmy, like, just, don't like him. Thank you.
This has been Jean's TED Talk, Why Kristen Cole Sucks.
I didn't even get into the whys. He just sucks.
Well, let's get into the whys right now, because to be honest, I have been someone who, like, I didn't, I think he's an interesting character, but he's an infuriating character. But I think I hated him more in this episode than anything else, which is funny because it's now he's having his PTSD moment where he's like, scorched earth, dragons are nuclear weapons. Um, and so he's like, I'm just gonna sit here and work on my shield painting project for a minute, which, like, you're just painting a few circles. Like, how long is this gonna take? What else are you up to, dude? And Gwaine comes to him because Gwaine sees that a one of the soldiers has basically assaulted one of the local women, and Gwaine's like, you have to intervene and do something about this. We have to say that this is not okay. And Kristen Cole's like, I don't care about honor anymore. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
You
Of
who
all
was like,
people.
yeah, who were going to ruin other people's lives, ruin entire kingdoms because of your freaking precious honor. Now, if you don't care about it now, when you've seen the devastation that it has wrought, then you never cared about it in the first place, to be honest.
Exactly. Exactly. I hate Christian Cole.
I still don't have the hatred for him that you do, but I see him now as this like a very empty person who he used that honor as something to cling to have some to define himself, and give him some feeling of purpose, but it was fake. That's what I think now. It was all fake.
Man, give me Kenneth Cole, Cole Haan. Just get rid of Christian Cole. Can
Coleman
we get
Domingo.
give me just get rid of Christian Cole? Ah,
What do you think about the addition of this Hightower contingency? We've got Ormond Hightower, who is, I guess he's first cousins with Alicent, and I'll say, I mean, I'm just going to name who's standing behind him. If for some
yes, yes,
reason you
yes,
don't want to
yes.
hear this, flash forward. But like, I don't know why they're not saying this kid's name, but it's Alicent's son. Darren is the one in green behind him, and the dragon Tessarion belongs to Darren. Um, so we're getting Greens are getting another dragon in the mix. Although it was like seeing Tessarion penned up the whole time, I'm like,
Yeah, I know. It's like, let the dragon go, man.
yeah.
This is even more reason that they stink. These greens. How you gonna have the dragon in the pen like that? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
I'll say I look forward to seeing more of Darren, especially because the actor who plays him, Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, is going to be playing Link in the Zelda movie that's coming out. So I've seen him as a kid in The Haunting of Bly Manor, but I can't. I'm looking forward to seeing how he's developing and picturing him as Link. But what did you think about the introduction of these characters?
Yeah, Ormond does not look like somebody that I'm going to enjoy on
Mhm.
screen. Smelling salts or whatever he's sniffing to tell people they stink.
Delicate little Ormond, yeah.
And telling people you stink. I got to smell these things because you stink in my presence. Go take a bath. Like, get this guy out of
Thanks
here.
for the bath, but you don't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think obviously they're going to play a huge role in the upcoming episodes and the intrigue and the battles that are to come. But yeah, this is I'm not Team Hightower. You know what I mean? Like they all can get it. Like bring Sheepy over here and let's burn
Mhm.
everybody. You know what I'm saying? Let my son Sheepy loose. Let my guy loose and just do it. Because, I'm not a fan of the High Towers. I don't like them. Um, I don't want to see them succeed. And I just need them all to be, either put in some sort of stocks or burnt. That's how I'm feeling right now. So Ormond is here and with his, smell goods, but I don't like him. I don't like them. Um, but they're rolling deep. You got they're rolling deep. They're well fed. They're well provisioned. They're going to be a tough out. You know what I mean? They're going to be a tough out. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, this was very much just like a setup of them, and that way it did feel like a new season. Like here's some new characters who are going to be important this season. I'll say the one other one that they introduced, he hasn't really done anything yet, but was with Ormond was John Roxton, played by Joplin Sibtain, and the reason I point him out is lots of people are pointing him out because he played Brasso in Andor.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
A lot of affection for this actor built into our community. Check out our Andor coverage if you haven't yet. All right, but this is a good place to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to get into it's battle time. It's time to talk the battle. Be right back. right, you want to set up the Dragonstone drama?
Absolutely. On Dragonstone, Rhaenyra and Jacaerys prepare for battle, but Jace has other plans. Lacking trust for his step-grandmother's Alicent word that she will let Rhaenyra have King's Landing, believing it's a trap, and incredulous that his mother would first fly off into another seemingly trap of the Triarchy fleet at the Gullet. Jace commands the Sir Laurent and the Queen's Guard to lock her up until the battle is done, and they listen. Then Jace and Baela fly off to war.
Oh, I mean, obviously this was meant to infuriate us. Like he says to Sir Lawrence, "You swore to protect her from all threats, including herself." And I was like, that's some real. This is the second time I brought up this short story recently, but it's some real the yellow wallpaper energy. The yellow wallpaper is this short story from the 19th century. 19th century feminist literature, basically, but it is a favorite of mine. Happened to reread it a couple months ago. Happened to be extremely relevant to Backrooms. David and I talked about it in our episode about that film, not just because of the yellow wallpaper, but thematically, it's about um, it's about a woman who, I don't know, she's unwell in a vague kind of 19th century way. Her husband's a doctor, and her husband doctor and her brother decide that for her own protection, she needs to be locked in this room and kept away from all stimulation, like other people or reading or things like that. And she goes crazy because of it. And I think that's what's kind of going on here. I think they're showing that Rhaenyra, after everything that she's been through and all the battles against the patriarchy, to have her own son turn on her like that and have that be their last interaction. Like, I hate that that's their last interaction.
It sucks. It is so heartbreaking, but it is so infuriating. But I was so pissed off. I'm like, Sir Lauren, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? You don't take your orders from the prince when the
No.
queen is still here.
Yeah.
Like,
Can
what
you
are you
imagine?
talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? Like, how does that even square?
Mm-hmm.
How does that not tie? He's the prince. He's not the king. And again, they would not have done that to the king, right? They wouldn't have done that to the king. But she's
No.
the queen.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to decide for her.
Yeah.
What type of fucking bullshit is that?
I just can't believe that, Jace would do that.
And
And
Jace,
I'm a bit disappointed in Baela too, because Baela is like, for a
yes,
second, like, no, this isn't cool. And then Jace is
yes,
like, oh, but it's for her own protection. She's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Then let's go. And also Massaria, we got like in our previously on flashback at the beginning, they showed us again Massaria and Rhaenyra kissing. But then we didn't see any more intimacy between them in this episode. And she was locked in that room
with her. This called for some.
but she seemed more on Jace's side at some point. She's
Yes,
like, he
yes,
wishes only to protect you. Like, fuck
yes,
that.
absolutely.
I can't
Absolutely.
take that coming from you, Massaria, of
Right.
all people, and all
Right.
of the struggles I know you have gone through
Right.
as a woman in this world who chose the sex work lane to get ahead because, like we said, limited options.
Yeah. it's just, Jace, man, I've known Jaces. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I've known some Jaces who think they know, who think they have the right to make decisions for other people, especially the women in their lives.
Mhm.
Right. And that shit never goes well. It never goes well. Because taking agency from someone never bodes well for you.
Mm-mm.
And I just hate that. I don't know how old is Jay supposed to be in this world. Like,
In the show version, it's tough to say. Like, let's say elder teen.
Right. So not yet 20, right?
I don't know.
So
Maybe early
full,
20s, the brashness of youth.
yeah, Brad, great. That's a wonderful way to say it. But also the having the temerity to even think that you can make this decision for your mom, who is the fucking queen,
Mm-hmm.
is beyond ballsy.
It's infuriating. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
beyond ballsy to give Jace that power,
Mm-hmm.
especially since he hasn't shown to anyone to be worthy of anything approaching that sort of power. And then
Yeah.
Sir Lawrence just standing there like a big old dumbass in
Like,
front of the
oh,
door.
okay. Yeah.
Like,
The,
really?
the the young princeling says that this is my duty, so I do it. Yeah.
Come on. Come on. You know, it didn't take me out of the show.
Mm-mm.
It didn't take me out of the show. But I am really trying to wrap my head around how Sir Lawrence would allow this to happen.
Yeah. So one
He
thing that
can't.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, and it just can't be, you know, sexism for sexism's sake.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, we have to protect this woman from herself. It just can't. I refuse to believe that that is the rudimentary, you know, way that this show is trying to think of these characters.
Yeah.
Yes, this world is a sexist world, but in the realms that we're in, this sort of setup that we're living in, that they're living in, that we're witnessing, she's the fucking queen.
Mhm.
If she says off with your head is off. You are going to disobey her direct order in order to obey her sons?
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around that.
I mean,
And
I'm against absolute power, but she deserves the same respect. She deserves more respect than her son, frankly, because
absolutely,
she's earned it, not just, not just by being older, but by all the things that
by
she's done up
deed,
to.
by
Mhm.
deeds,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
by actual deeds. Like, there's no one in her circle should, at this point of the story, doubt her capacity to lead.
Yeah. But it is I mean, I do understand that Jace was worried about losing her and worried also for selfish reasons about it because he knows that well, all the strong jokes that without her he loses all claim. Like people are not going to take him seriously without his mother
Right.
because
Right.
he has the wrong color hair or whatever. Um Yeah. So, okay. But we do have to talk about one thing in this scene that did rub me and some other people a bit the wrong way, which is a misplaced reference. Like, I dig the reference they pulled out. I do not dig how they
The way
used
they
it.
used it.
Hmm. And that is that Queen Elizabeth quote that they slipped in. So the version that we heard in this episode is, "I may appear to have the weak and feeble body of a woman, but I possess the heart and spirit of a king." And before we get back to how it's used in this episode, I just want to talk a bit about where this quote comes from. And so this is a speech that Queen Elizabeth I gave in 1588 at Tilbury at the defeat of the Spanish Armada. Marilyn pointed out in the chat that the Armada had already been destroyed at this point, but there was still a possibility of an invasion force led by the Duke of Parma. The English didn't know that the Armada had been chased from their southern shores and had been followed and harried by the English. But anyway, so it was. But the point is that this was a rallying cry, like think Braveheart style, except my Scottish friends say that the Braveheart style rallying cry wasn't real, but this one is real. This comes from history. We have probably the most accurate version of the original speech, which I'm going to give to you, was found in a letter from Lionel Sharp to the Duke of Buckingham, and because basically Sharp was there
There.
and was tasked with writing this down and rallying the troops also in her wake. So this is the version that he wrote down. the most. There's other accounts too, but this one's considered probably the
Accurate.
most accurate. And so just picture Queen Elizabeth, flaming red hair, in battle armor, on horseback. And she says, "My loving people, we have been persuaded by some that are careful of our safety to take heed how we commit ourselves to armed multitudes for fear of treachery. But I assure you, I do not desire to live to distrust my faithful and loving people. Let tyrants fear. I have always so behaved myself that under God I have placed my chiefest strength and safeguard in the loyal hearts and goodwill of my subjects. And therefore I am come amongst you, as you see, at this time, not for my recreation and disport, but being resolved in the midst and heat of the battle to live and die amongst you all, to lay down for my God and for my kingdom and my people, my honor and my blood, even in the dust. I know I have the body but of a weak, feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too, and think foul scorn that Parma or Spain or any prince of Europe should dare to invade the borders of my realm, to which rather than any dishonor shall grow by me, I myself will take up arms. I myself will be your general, judge, and rewarder of every one of your virtues in the field. I know already, for your forwardness, you have deserved rewards and crowns. And we do assure you, on a word of a prince, they shall be duly paid. In the meantime, my lieutenant general shall be in my stead than whom never prince command a more noble or worthy subject, not doubting, but by your obedience to my general, by your concord in the camp, and your valor in the field, we shall shortly have a famous victory over these enemies of my God, of my kingdom, and my people." So this is like I love the idea of referencing this powerful speech that has survived through history. But the way it was used here is to her to say it to Massaria, like crying
Yeah.
in a room, and you know, like the source of like they could have used it with when she's is actually rallying people to battle. That would have been the appropriate time to use it. But here
On a
she's being
motherfucking dragon.
yeah, here she's being locked up by her son, which is so ick. And so it ends up making her sound feeble indeed. And I think it just completely misses the point of why the original is so famous. So sorry to be critical on that point, but had to have it out.
No, it deserves all the criticism. It deserves all the criticism because I heard her say these words and it was just like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
like what? The body of a what? And the look on her face, like totally resigned and sad and not even upset, not even angry, no righteous fury, just like defeated, teary
Hmm.
eyed. The fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's not Rhaenyra. Yeah. Although I feel for her because obviously, well, we'll get into it in a sec. She lost a son today, but
Yeah,
also, how disappointing is it going to be when she gets to King's Landing? She's like going on and on about like, I'll have Aegon's head, one strike could get them both, and Aegon's not there. Sorry.
not there, not there.
Hmm. All right, shall we get into the battle itself? You want to set up a mission of her own?
Yeah. Tywin Lannister returns from Essos with Sharako Lohar and her fleet of Triarchy ships, ready to break Corlys Velaryon's blockade at the Gullet that's blocking their ships from reaching King's Landing. However, as they near their target, it becomes clear that Lohar has her own agenda. She breaks off from the rest of the beginning of the battle to target High Tide, the seat of the House Velaryon, to punish Corlys for his many years of killing her people at the Stepstones. She's ready to make it personal. Everyone else in this battle be damned. But Corlys outboats her in his home turf. And despite her throwing Tywin and his soldier aboard, letting their heavy armor drag them into the sea instead of her boat, she gives up any advantage by immediately ramming Corlys' ship, breaking it apart, and knocking him overboard. Corlys' secret son, Alan, sees his father knocked overboard and, assuming he's died, goes after Lohar, killing her.
So We talked about this already a bit. This was obviously a favorite sequence of ours this episode. You talked about Corliss taking the wheel. I talked about that shot of Alan killing Lohar. Um, is there anything else you want to shout out about this sequence of events?
I love that Corliss was holding what looked like to be the Dothraki sword, not sword.
Mm,
I'm blanking on the name of the weapon, but it wasn't a Westerosi weapon. It just
right.
goes to show you how much well traveled this man is
Yeah,
and what he's seen that other people haven't seen.
true. He broke out that Ibn liquor too. Ibn is
Yes,
that
yes,
is
yes.
an island north of Essos. Yeah.
So just paying, a lot of homage to the sea snake and his travels and the world that he's seen that much of, you know, the Targaryens, even as we know them now, haven't, even on
Mm-hmm.
their dragons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's been around the world. He's been around the world. How many other sons and daughters does Mr. Sea Snake have?
What did you think about Alan going after to avenge his father after Lohar, after Corliss went overboard?
I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I really do. I think in the moment we spoke about it earlier when he saw his father, you know, just completely look out of it as he's watching High Tide burn, right? That was a moment where he saw a person who did not have everything together, did not have, the power, did not have the confidence. He saw his father as a man, as a regular person, then not the person he had placed on this pedestal or this person that was so important in society. And I think that's who he was avenging or trying to avenge in that moment, the person who was hurt, even though his father had hurt him in so many ways. He still was like, you know, this is still my dad in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw some real progress in their relationship here. I do wonder when Corliss and Adam are going to get some time together too. But I think it makes sense that Alan is the ship guy. He's the one who's really Valyrian at heart, to
Right.
so to speak.
Right. And he takes control, in the moment that Corliss can't. He does.
Hmm.
He
Yeah.
does.
I was, as I said, sad that we didn't get more of Shirako Lohar, I have to shout out, played by Abigail Thorne. Luke always shouts out when Abigail Thorne shows up because Luke's a fan of her Philosophy Tube YouTube channel. Um, but yeah, I thought that she was fun in this. Would have
She
liked more.
was.
You know
She
what? Her
was.
boat is called the Bitch Fist, which is like the
Yes.
best boat name I've ever heard.
uh,
Yeah. But yeah, that's
I wasn't
I
mad that he killed her, honestly.
no, it made sense. I mean, that's how the story goes. Yeah, it made
Yeah, I
sense.
wasn't upset.
It's sad we lost the boat, the queen who never was. It was kind of nice to
Yeah,
see Rhaenys as a figurehead on the
yeah, it
prow, but
was.
it
It
also
was.
raises questions like, because I want more backstory about Alan and Adam's mother. Like, what point did Corley
Man,
go and like cheat on his wife with this woman? What was the situation? He's like, I cared for her in my own way. Like, what does that mean?
yeah, I was fond of her. I was fond of your mother. What? Alan looked at him like, "What? What are you talking about? You were fond. You were fond of my mother. Like, if I could have reached through the screen, like I said earlier, I would have reached through the screen at that moment and choked him out." And he's just looking at it. Is that supposed? Am I supposed to feel good about that? That you said that? Is that supposed to make
Yeah.
me feel good? That you were fond of my mother? What are you talking about, dude?
While you were cheating on your wife for whatever
Right.
reason. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not giving us your name, but you
Mm-hmm.
were fond of her?
Right.
Come on, man. Come on, man. These are terrible people and like you said earlier, who make terrible decisions in regards to how they see and raise their children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Lohar, though, I have to say, I liked Lohar last season, but I do get annoyed with a character whose only motivation is revenge. It's just people who are only motivated by revenge, or characters especially who are only motivated by revenge, are so boring and predictable to me because you know always what they're going to do, and it's going to mess things up for everyone else in ways that don't even necessarily help them, and you're just like, oh, stop it. So fine, get rid of Lohar. It is sad that Lohar got to take out Spice Town on Driftmark. We know from the book it's never rebuilt after this
Right.
battle. So RIP, this is sort of obviously putting a major chink in the Valyrian legacy. Do we think Lohar warned Tywin Lannister about the armor?
She did.
She
She
did.
did.
Do we think he was not present in the book at this battle, but do we think he is dead? His brother died this episode. Did Thailand go down with him? Like,
Hmm.
does the TV version of this world hate twins?
I hadn't thought about that. I assumed he's dead. So, but now you raise an
I
interesting
wouldn't
question.
be surprised
If he
if he
washed up
were.
on some
Yeah.
shore.
I mean, like I said, he wasn't there. He was in King's Landing at this point. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I don't know. I genuinely do not know.
Yeah, now you've caused me to question because I just assumed that he was.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into the other side of the battle. We've got some dragon interference. During this Battle of the Gullet, Jace and Bela fly their dragons to Corlys's aid. When Rhaena spots the battle in progress as she nears Dragonstone on Sheepstealer's back, she decides the pair should intervene to help. The untrained dragon, however, sees nothing but threats and begins indiscriminately burning her grandfather's ships as well as their enemies, nearly nabbing her sister with the dragon's claws. And then Vermax is hit with a scorpion arrow, sinking into the sea. Although Jace is able to free himself from the dying dragon's saddle, when he surfaces, he finds himself amidst enemy ships who finish the job, turning him into a pincushion of arrows. R.I.P. Jace, the biggest R.I.P. of the episode.
Man, yeah, it's RIP Jace, but man, that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get. You know what I mean? You out here thinking that you just I'm gonna save the day. I'm riding this dragon. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here. I'm announcing myself. Everybody needs to know who I am. Nah, Jace. No, bro. That's not how it goes. You severely overestimated your capabilities.
Yeah.
Severely. You know, you are not that guy. And you desperately want to show that you're that guy, and you got.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Sheep
And it,
stealer.
yeah.
Sheepy came out of we don't just flew down and just started lacing everybody. You get some fire. You get some fire. You get the fire. Everybody gets the fire. You know what I'm saying? That's what Sheepy was doing. But you, Jace, what ah, just
I mean, the frustrating thing about the book difference is they've removed something that I'll say for the book spoiler section, but it makes it with removing that and with adding the thing where he locks his mother in his room, it kind
yes.
of reframes the context of Jace's death in this in a way that made me. It feels similar to the way I felt after the TV show version of the Blood and Cheese. I'm like, yeah, that was it, but like, oh, I missed the thing that really
Mm.
made me feel things in, the original version.
I mean, I felt things.
Yeah,
And
I
and
felt bad
and
for him. I did expect it, obviously, just like, well, there we
yes.
go. And they faked us out too. They faked us out, the book readers, because there was a scorpion at first, and then Bela comes in like,
And I thought that was the one that was going to get
yeah,
them. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
saving it.
yes.
And then once Bela saves him from the scorpion, you're like, oh no, is Jace gonna live in this version? Oh
No,
no. Oh no, no, no. Nope, just the same.
no,
Just the
no, no,
same.
no. Just like, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? It's like you see you have a little brother, you have, a nephew or a cousin who's younger than you, and they're in this stage that they're just like, I have to prove myself. I have to prove myself. No, you don't, bro. No, you are the last person who needs to prove it. You have a dragon, dog. Relax. Like, chill out. Chill out. You are the prince and you have a dragon. You actually don't need to prove yourself now. There will be a point. There will be a time where you're going to have to prove yourself. I give you that. This wasn't the time. This wasn't the time. This was a time where you decided that I'm going to show everybody. And you showed everybody that you got some arrows in your ass in the middle of the water. Thanks.
It was interesting. Okay, so the other thing that, like, as a book reader made me go, oh, okay, that didn't happen is, and I understand that there was a practical and financial reason. Like, you can tell we've complimented. I think this is one of the best looking battles I've ever seen on television in general. Just with not only the fact that it's dragons and ships, which is really freaking cool. Let's just say that. But also, as we've talked about before, the care and detail that went into realizing this, into staging this, into the visuals themselves and every aspect of it. Great battle. Clearly where all the money went, but they didn't have the money still, despite all that dragon money. They didn't have enough money for 3 more dragons, actually 2 more dragons in this battle, because in the book version, Bela is not there because Moondancer isn't even big enough to ride at this point.
Right.
She would have loved to have been there, but she couldn't. But there's like this hero moment where the dragon seeds, who were just playing out waiting for Godot in this episode, a lot of us expected them to like come in as the cavalry and sort of save the day at the end and have this big heroic moment, and that didn't happen. So I understand why it didn't happen, but you can't help but feel like,
do you think that will happen? That they will get their moment?
They're gonna get a moment, but I don't know.
I
if
know.
they're gonna get a
I'm
moment
talking
like
about
this.
that moment. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You think they get that moment? They're going to get a moment, but will it be this type of moment?
But that's the thing, is if they don't get this type of moment, later moments are going to feel different.
Oh, exactly. And I think that's the intent.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's intentional.
All right.
To make us feel what we feel later on. Maybe.
I mean, if it works in that way, it's a happy accident of, basically it's been said that that would have been too expensive to have all of them there. And I get it. I understand. George R. R. Martin can go wild on the page and put as many dragons as he wants.
Right, of course. But another thing we got to talk about. We got to talk about Raina. We got to talk about Raina.
Talk about it.
All right. Like, have you ever flown a dragon?
No.
Have you ever ridden a dragon in your life? Have you ever pet a dragon?
Have you ever even ridden this dragon before, other than that one time?
This dragon.
The dragon took you somewhere you didn't want to go and dropped you.
and just shrugged you off, right? To get on the dragon, to get on Sheepy, and talk about, you see the smoke, we have to go help. What? I said to myself, wait a minute. Who's we? And why are you bringing Sheepy down there? They have weapons that can harm Sheepy. What are we doing? No. This is not a good idea. This is not a good plan. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You are as inadequate, even less so than Jace. Like, what are we doing, children?
I mean, Jace has been riding this dragon for a while, so yeah.
And he's still horrible. He
did fine dragon riding. He just was horrible to his mom.
Okay, all right. Okay, yes. Raina.
Yeah.
Can we Can we stop and think for a moment? Can we stop and think for a moment? What were you really going to accomplish? No, that's my sister. Hey, Sheepy's like, everybody can get some fire. I don't know these people. I barely know you. We just met. You telling me that's I don't know your sister. She can get these claws. I'm here for the drama. Let's go. let's go.
There
Sheepy
better be
sees.
sheep at the end of this.
Yes, I need sheep, but I'm here for this drama. What are you talking about?
I can eat those boat people too.
Everybody can get it. That's your sister. Who's your sister? I never even seen her before. What are you talking about?
But then here's the question. If the dragons have the smell thing we were talking about earlier, shouldn't Sheepy be like, oh, smells like you?
Not in the middle of the battle.
Or does Sheepy just not, Sheepy can't smell beyond that underbite?
Not in the middle of the fire. Nah, it's not the underbite. Nah. We're not going to do Sheepy like that. Sheepy can smell just like everybody else can smell. Every dragon. Nah. We're not going to put Sheepy as a non-smeller. Nah, we're not going to do that. No. But there was too much smoke, too much blood, too much gore going on. So Sheepy couldn't pick up the scents.
I mean, you think like someone was saying, I'm going to say a modification of something I saw someone share from social media. Sorry, I don't forget who to credit, but
Okay.
it's kind of like Reyna got like a pit bull rescue from the fighting circuit, a traumatized dog, and then took it to the dog park and let it off the leash. Like that dog does not know how to deal with other dogs right now. You gotta work on that in phases.
Yes. Just really like, what are we doing? What are we doing, kids? The kids are not all right.
What do you think the fallout's going to be for Reyna?
Oh God, I think she has to run.
Well,
I think she
we'll
has
talk
to
about
run.
that some more. Yeah,
I think she has to run. She can't go to Rhaenyra.
Mm-hmm.
She can't go home.
Yeah, I just killed. Well, she didn't kill obviously
She didn't.
Jace,
No,
but
she
she
didn't.
She
But
definitely didn't help.
exactly, she made it worse. She
Mm-hmm.
made it worse, and I don't think she can go home.
Mm.
Maybe she can go, find her dad.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
She's
We're
got
gonna put a
tough
pin in
yeah.
that side of the discussion and talk about that more in the book spoiler section. Because obviously we know where hers and another character's story goes, and
Right.
we might have some indications of how they're going to be combining them exactly. All right, let's check in with the current dragon tally. We've still got so Team Green, they've got Vagar, which is the biggest. Yay for you on that. And they've got Tessarion coming, Darren's dragon. So they will have 2 dragons. They have Dreamfire that's just sitting there unused. Honestly, that is the same in the book. And then, Sunfire assumed dead. So basically, they've got Vagar and Tessarion. Team Black still definitely in the lead dragon wise. Like they've lost RX Lucerys' dragon, and obviously Lucerys on Minlise with Rhaenys and Remax with Jaceres. So they've lost 3 dragons, but they still have Syrax, Rhaenyra's dragon, Caraxes, Daemon's dragon, my favorite, Moondancer, Baela's dragon. Now we've got Sheep Stealer in the fold, maybe. Sea Smoke, Adam's Dragon, Vermithor with Hugh, and Silverwing with Ulf. And I mean, there's the 2 baby dragons with Rhaenyra's younger sons, Stormcloud with Aegon and Taraxes with Joffrey, but they're too small.
We can't count them yet.
They're babies, but still, Black very much in the lead right now, and we won't speculate on how that stays, but. You can imagine the Warren's not over. We've got 2 more seasons.
Just got started.
We know not within this show, But we know by the time of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, all the dragons are gone.
Oh,
So
gone. Right.
More dragon casualties incoming for sure.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I could deal with Jace. I could deal with that, but to see the dragons go down, man, that's tough. I could see the Jaces, but yeah, it's tough to see the dragons go.
All right. Let's take one final break here. And when we come back, we're going to check in on the community thoughts about this episode and share our own final thoughts. And then after the final outro, there will be, as we said, the book spoiler section. So see you in just a moment. Thank you again to Hand of the Pod Nancy for collating this feedback. If you want your own thoughts included in future episodes, please send your emails to hotd@thelorehounds.com and Nancy will collect it. Do also check out our Discord. You'll find that in the link tree in the show notes, where we have a dedicated forum for House of the Dragon with spoiler chats per episode. So you can jump in wherever you happen to be in your watch. Okay, so let's start with, we got a voicemail from Dopamini, and I haven't listened to it yet, but the title is Sheep Stealer. So let's see what Dopamini has to say about Sheep Stealer.
Hey y'all, I am sending you a raven to share some thoughts about Sheep Stealer. I absolutely love his design, and I was so offended when I heard on another podcast they described him as derpy and like a dum-dum because of how he looks. And I just think he looks absolutely perfect. He reminds me of a deep sea creature from like the Midnight Zone where they never see sun. And I've watched a lot of the behind the scenes things where they talk about the influence and design of the various dragons. And like, for example, I know that Cyrax was inspired by a bird of prey, specifically an eagle. And there's obviously a lot of reptilian influence in the design of some of the other dragons. And, you know, Sheep Stealer is just totally his own thing. And I mean, we've got this mottled skin. We've got the underbite. We've got all these crazy spikes, the teeth that jut backwards. I thought that it was just a perfect and beautiful visual representation that we're dealing with a different kind of dragon here. Yes. I mean, he has been hanging out in the Vale, like away from other dragons, which seems to be a very deliberate choice. And so I think it all just shows us that the claiming of him and the riding of him is going to be a very different experience from what we've seen with the other dragons. And, you know, I wouldn't judge who Sheep Stealer can be based on this one experience that we saw of him riding. I think he was probably really scared. Like I said, it seems like he's intentionally alone being where he is, at least in the show. And, you know, so he was probably just terrified at being thrust into arrows and fire and other dragons and all of this when the first time having somebody ride him. I also am really curious what you guys think. I thought it was so, to me, bizarre when Raina started singing the song. We've heard Daemon sing and we've heard the Dragon Keepers sing in High Valyrian. as part of her claiming of sheep stealer, again, a wild dragon. Why do we think that High Valyrian is going to work? Like, do they just is there some sort of lore that the dragons just automatically understand High Valyrian? I don't recall this. It's so bizarre to me. And especially considering that we've seen Aegon on Sunfire using the common tongue. So I'd be really curious to hear what you guys think of that. But I am so stoked to see Sheep Stealer in the mix, and I'm really curious what is to come for his story as well as Rhaena's story as a dragon rider.
And also, Dopamini wrote in after that to say, I forgot to say that I wonder if the deep sea was an inspiration for his design. Small thing, but yeah, I hope we get one of HBO's little behind-the-scenes specials on Sheep Stealer and the inspirations for this look beyond the book description at some point. And yeah, I love also like the audio engineers talking about how they make up the dragon roars and things like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there are people working on this show who really care about their dragons, and it shows.
Yes.
Well,
thank you for the voicemail. That's an awesome insight, because I love how sheepy looks.
Yeah.
Sheepy is so dragony, and I think that is really cool. The way the spikes jet out, the teeth, just so menacing, and yet you see this peacefulness also.
Mm-hmm.
I really dig the design of Sheepy. Oh, and then I think they do respond to High Valyrian, right? I think
but the other dragons were trained to respond to High Valyrian.
But
why would Sheep Stealer know that?
Because of how they were created, no? How dragons came into existence.
I guess I'm less in thinking like that the dragons have this magical knowledge, and more that like humans just like to think that. But I think the other dragons had High Valyrian shouted at them since they were hatched, and Sheep Stealer not.
I think there's magic in it. I could be wrong.
Okay, no, I know. We always have this debate, you and I.
Yes.
Where I'm like, you're like, get your science out of my magic.
Get out of here. But I think there is magic in how the dragons were created, and the High Valyrian was the language of the magic.
Okay. Do you want to walk us through the other Sheep Stealer feedback?
Okay, so we have a message from Rocky Zimb from our Discord. I like Sheep Stealer. It was not a good idea for Rhaena to go to battle without knowing how to control the dragon. But I think that was the point. Sheep Stealer is free and doesn't have a side. Yet. Dun, dun, dun.
I guess he's on Rhaena's side, ostensibly. I mean, he doesn't want to eat Rhaena, so that's a step in the right direction.
He's feeding Rhaena.
Yeah, he's feeding Rhaena. Yeah. It's his baby bird.
Yeah.
People have been saying it's like, and it's true. It's like when your cat brings you a dead bird, you're like, oh, thank you for that. But except Rhaena was actually hungry.
Yes, exactly. And he even cooked it. Yes.
My cats have never cooked me prey. It's like they don't even love me.
Like, I know you don't eat raw, so here. Medium well
he doesn't
done.
eat raw
I got
either.
You.
He's cooking for himself too.
Yeah, that's true too. He's cooked for himself too. That's true.
He's like, I like it charred and crispy.
And then we have another message from Abby on our Discord. I was not a huge fan of the whole Rhaena thing. If ugly, cute cat like Sheep Stealer could talk, it would tell her, I am a free dragon and will burminate indiscriminately. I love it. Yes, 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 yes. Indiscriminately. You get some fire. You get some fire.
Fire for everyone.
Everybody gets the fire. I love it. Yes, 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 yes.
I'll just pop in with a general feedback from Ken W via email. Wow, let the kids rain fire. What could go wrong?
We also have a message from Peter OH. Sheep Stealer seems pretty generous with his possessions, but unfortunately, not a great listener. How wild is he? Did he have a previous rider?
Nope. All the way wild.
Yeah.
The wild. I mean, so there are in the book, there's 3 wild dragons. I think this might be the only one we really see. There's a rumored. Oh wait, we got a glimpse of Cannibal, didn't we? Or no, that was Vermithor.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, anyway, Sheep Stealer definitely never had a rider before. So good for Reyna for breaking through to this dragon who's never bonded with a human. That's a huge deal. But yeah, take it one step at a time in that case, especially. Yeah. Abby also said, I feel overall ambivalent about this episode. Maybe I even skipped some of the fighting. Folks who love battle will love it. And I'll say, yeah, I am also
I can
someone.
understand that.
Yeah, I'm more into usually the character moments than the battles. So
Right.
I appreciate the battle side, but there's a high likelihood that a different episode this season will be my favorite that just has more grounded character drama, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. And Ayas Sadai says, I cannot deny that this episode looked incredible. They've been promising this at the start of the season, and it delivered from a pure spectacle standpoint. I've never been more grateful for having a big TV. The details were so clear on the ships and on the dragons, it was never confusing as to what was going on. Again, shout out to them for doing this in the daytime because you couldn't hide any bad CGI under cover of darkness.
Good point.
Yeah. I love that the Triarchy ships look totally different from Westerosi ships.
Yes.
The sails, the prow, the decks, and everything. I love ships. I wonder if others didn't care for this, but I love it.
Nah, we love it too.
Yeah. Ramin Djawadi is killing it yet again with the music in the battle scene where we first see the sea snake. So, yeah, I can sign on with all of that. All of the looks fantastic, as I was saying. And I didn't credit the music, so I'm glad she did. Yeah.
So we
What
have
did she
go ahead.
What'd she have to say about Rhaenyra?
So this is from Ayas Sadai. I hate that Rhaenyra was sidelined by being locked in her room. I can watch Emma Darcy do their thing all day long. I had such a hard time connecting with the characters and their motivation, other than Alicent's continued despair at this latest wrinkle and Rhaenyra's frustration with being treated like a woman. I love the dress shedding scene. Yeah, frustration.
Yeah, she was like, "You will not put me in the female trappings. I
Yes.
am a battle queen."
But
Yeah.
it's inferior. That whole, yeah.
Yeah.
It's intentional. It's meant to make us feel the feelings, but still, it's just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Ayas Sedai continues about Lohar and Corlys. I absolutely loved the chase between them, tense and exciting to me anyway, and once again showing the futility of pursuing revenge, both Lohar and Alan. Starting with this battle had for me the effect of sitting back and enjoying the action, but having no deep emotions about any of it. If you had fallen prey to their marketing from season 2 and picked a side, maybe you would have experienced some victorious joy. But there I was, willing Lohar to win and do more damage to Corlys in that part of the story, which I don't think I'm supposed to think. They did a great job humanizing Lohar in their introduction last season, and what a treat to see Abigail Thorne in this role. So perhaps Lohar is sympathetic, but then am I supposed to now be like, oh, well, back to Team Black now that Lohar is dead? Unsatisfying. This might be an unpopular take. It's just hard because this is not something that Game of Thrones suffered from in the early seasons. Anyway, I'm Team Black with a soft spot for tragic Alicent, always. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I feel like there is a lot of, I don't know that you agree, but I know a lot of Team Black
Right.
are like asterisks, but poor Alicent. Show Alicent.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
What do you mean?
Like you have no sympathy for her? You do. You've
No,
expressed some.
I do. I've expressed it this episode.
Oh, you're saying I'm not being fair by saying you don't like.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair. 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 Fair.
I
Fair.
told you I'm trying to
You're turning a new
change.
leaf.
Yes, yes.
A green leaf.
We got a message from Davy Mac. One aspect I really liked about this episode is characters making decisions based on imperfect or delayed information. What you know to be true 1 minute is no longer true by the time you've written out a letter, sealed it, and sent it on its way. And characters are also waiting for orders that may or may not come. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a good point. I made the waiting for Godot joke, but it really does show. I do think that a lot of wars is just waiting around for
Somebody to
where
tell
we.
you what to do.
Where are we going to go now? Yeah. Okay, so Marilyn does not watch the show because we have something called the Pukila scale, which is like where on emotional and physical violence does this rank, and this is obviously at the top. But she is very interested in the lore, so she has read the original books, the Game of Thrones, and the Song of Ice and Fire books, and follows along and reads also media about the show. So this she shared this recap from the New York Times. And she said, there's a New York Times review of the opening episode that mentions Alice Rivers and a figure that sounds suspiciously like the Horned One. And thank you to Nancy for including a little clip about that in here. In the article, it says, at their camp, they receive a cryptic visit from Black Alice Rivers, Gail Rankin, the self-professed witch who bedeviled Damon last season, accompanied by a Black Phillip-type goat and a strange antlered humanoid. I don't know what that is either, man. That's coming from the New York Times. We actually do know what that is a bit. But Marilyn continues, well, it sounds as though the show is going with the traditional medieval view of witches as evil, or at the very least bringers of dissension who enjoy stirring up people. And I pushed back on that part when we were discussing it because, again, Marilyn's not watching. This is based on the description, the secondhand description. But I think, I honestly think Alice is one of the more moral characters in this show. I said that earlier, but I stand by it. I think that she is one of the characters that we see. There is a trope in this series or in this world in general where there are the characters who have visions of the future. And maybe this is just basically an allegory. People who look ahead at the long-term visions of the future are, they're thinking bigger picture. They're less petty, I suppose. And so we do see her last season. I think she helped Damon a lot. So we'll see where it goes from here. But Marilyn continues, I definitely had the impression that Alice was enjoying displaying her power because it made the men uncomfortable to be in the presence of a woman with power. I also had the impression that she enjoys using her power tremendously. This, of course, is neither good nor bad or trait in and of itself. And yeah, I won't disagree with that. She says mockery is also a fairly common trait for witches in this context. Interesting that she should bring both a black male goat and the horned one figure. So a lot of people think that she somehow shapeshifts into the goat.
Into the goat.
Because we also saw that goat last season wandering around Harrenhal. So what do you
That's
what
I thought.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Could be. Could be. I mean, we've never seen her and the goat together, right? Could also be her warging into the goat. But Marilyn says, medievally speaking, black goats were strongly associated with women and evil witchcraft. Kissing the goat was a term for women who decided to give themselves over to evil magic. Because, this is Elysia interjecting that it's often, there's a satanic link. We've talked about that with Marvel stuff.
Yes.
Marilyn says, I really wish I could have seen some images of the horn. Oh, well, we did show Marilyn some images. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll get back to what the horned one is. But indeed, as Marilyn says, he's associated the horned one, sorry, the green man, who is horned, associated with Westeros lore and the island, and the pact was made between the first humans and children of the forest. Yeah, we'll do a little lore dive for that in a second. She says there's a strong sense of guardianship about the horned one, particularly guardian of the forest, but also a great deal of what we might call wild magic. And I think that definitely applies here. She says, in some versions, he likes nothing better than a good bloody battle. In other versions, he is more of a protector image. Perhaps he came along with Alice to make certain that she would not be assaulted in a large camp. No, so it wasn't a large camp of men in Maryland. It was only 3 of them. And I think he came with Alice to help her spook them away from this Isle of Faces. Yeah.
Yes.
She said, I believe the green men are considered good. There's a range of ways in which they have been interpreted. When I said that in medieval images were essentially evil, I did not necessarily mean that they were intended to be presenting Alice and the green men as evil in the series. She's certainly uncanny, and I don't think anybody feels particularly comfortable around her, with the possible exception of Damon. I don't know. She freaked Damon out last season.
I think so too, yeah.
But probably he's more comfortable around her than most people. Yeah. At the same time, Marilyn says, I'm afraid that my limited exposure to Damon does not lead me to consider him to be a particularly good character. So the fact that Alice is helping him out doesn't necessarily endear him or her to me as well. It could be that she is playing a longer game of trying to bring about his downfall, though I really don't know why. As I say, I'm pretty ignorant of all the threats for this series. I was a bit easier with Game of Thrones as I had read those books. Yeah. So say about her with Damon. Yeah, I said it earlier, and I do think she's thinking long term, and so I don't necessarily think she's 100% on Damon's side per se, but more she knows that Team Black needs to do well at the moment for the long term vision of escaping eventually the Night King taking over Westeros. Yeah, the Green Men are something that really interests me. And I'll say it's oddly enough, I recently was on the House of the Dragon Bald Move podcast with Anthony talking about these green men in the Isle of Faces, because we talked about a Bran chapter from A Storm of Swords where Mira and Jojen tell Bran about this story of the Night of the Laughing Tree, which is where a Crannog man from, their marshy place visited the green men. So I will put a link to that in the show notes, because we do go a bit more into speculating about this green men lore. But just quickly, this is one of the most mysterious things in the lore. The book makes it ambiguous whether it's humans dressed up or whether it's something else that's not quite human. And here we get this clear view where we see this sort of like satire figure with the goat legs, but also with like the sort of tree bark skin and antlers. Definitely not human. Just to quote the wiki on this, some nursery tales claim that they are horned and have dark green skin. According to Old Nan, the green men ride elks and sometimes have antlers. Most maesters believe their clothes are green and they wear headdresses with horns. So it's interesting they take a side, and I wonder how George R. R. Martin feels about this. But basically, as Marilyn was saying, they are a sacred order entrusted with the guardianship of this Isle of Faces island where we saw the 3 dragon seeds this episode. And this was indeed where there was a hard-fought peace pact made between the first men and the children of the forest. So the children of the forest were originally in Westeros, and then the first men came, they fought with the children of the forest, and then they made this pact where they decided the first men would get the cleared lands, but they were not allowed to cut down any more trees. And then the children got the forests that were left. But then the Andals came, and they're the ones who are mostly running things now. And so they killed most of the children, but it is believed some took refuge on the Isle of Faces. And obviously we know in Game of Thrones that there are some north of the wall as well, or at least by that time there are. So there's a lot of theories that I don't know, like, will this show tell us what exactly these green men are now that we've gotten a good look? We got a glimpse last season, and now we've gotten an even better look this time. there are people who think that they could be a hybrid of like a the descendants of the first men and children of the forest mixing together. Now,
Mm,
approaching this from science, I'm like, do they have the same number of chromosomes? And I know you're like, get out of here with that. But they do look like a combination of children of the forest and humans, but also like living literal green men or horned men.
right, right.
Like they literally pulled it from, yeah, that's this sort of Celtic lore. I don't know. Any thoughts, Sean?
You know what? I'm not sure. Um, I think most of the this comes from that area, from Celtic, you know, lore.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume yes, because there are so many themes that go along with what I've known of, you know, that time period from that part of the world. So I can only assume yes, that
Yeah.
that is what he was going for.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be. Well, we're going to put a pin in the feedback there because the other bits we have are spoilery. So, Jean, do you have any final non-book spoiler thoughts about this?
No, no, no. I think thank you for the feedback, and yeah, one thing I will keep saying is Raina, Jace, they just proved that the kids are not all right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will be back. If you're leaving us now, don't worry, we'll be back next week. We don't have screeners, so you can expect episodes to release on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. It's about as fast as we can turn them around, but we promise to give you good depth for your wait. And of course, again, David will be taking over starting with episode 3, but I'll still be sending in voicemails. We've got lots of other stuff going on the network. Like I said, we are also doing weekly The Vampire Lestat coverage, and that is, I think, I was thinking about it today, and it's possible it's my favorite television show ever.
Whoa! Wow!
Yeah, like I was trying to think
Okay.
of anything that challenges it, and then, you know, I have stuff
Yes,
that I love, but I
I
think I
know.
love
That's why.
Interview with the Vampire the most. And I'm not like talking about the books per se, although I'm enjoying rereading them now. I'm definitely not talking about that 90s movie, although I loved it at the time and had a fun time revisiting it recently. But this show, my God, the writing is, I don't know that I've ever seen better writing from the character perspective. And also, they do a lot with, they don't have that dragon money, but they do a lot with obviously vampires are cheaper for practical effects, but the way that they edit things, and they're just the creativity from production design to, and this season is a music season. um oh yeah, you were familiar with Moses Sumney. I wasn't
Yeah,
familiar
yeah,
with
yeah,
him
yeah,
before. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he pops up as a new minor character in this season. Still waiting to see where this is going, but it's funny. I hope so far it's all the stats singing this season, which makes sense because that's the book plot and it's his tour. But I'm like, you have so many musical people in there, make them all sing. Anyway, yeah, you can, as I said, you can check out the first 2 seasons of Interview with the Vampire on Netflix. The Vampire Lestat is releasing weekly right now on AMC, and we are doing weekly coverage. We do have screeners for that one, so that's why that comes out before these episodes. But if you like House of the Dragon, then you have the stomach for for all of the dramatic, yeah, all of the ups and downs of this vampire world. So definitely I recommend checking it out.
Okay.
It's got some humor in it too. It's a bit lighter in some ways, but then also gets like deeper, like I was talking about this week's episode. Anyway, I'll stop talking about the Vampire Lestat for now. We've also got, David and I recently put out a Disclosure Day discussion. We've got Supergirl coming out soon. We're going to go see the movie in the next week or so and plan on recording.
Yes. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, and John just put out a Silmarillion Stories episode about Doriath. You can see the grim dark side of Tolkien. So if you like this, you'll probably like that side of Tolkien. And John's also starting at the end of July, Cosmere Corner. It's going to be a new feed with the Brandon Sanderson books, just reading through a few chapters at a time to help prep for we've now found out there's TV shows, a movie coming, and we're getting the whole Sanderson world. So he and some of the guys from Radioactive Ramblings are going to be walking all of us through that. I even though Brandon Sanderson finished The Wheel of Time, I've not read any of his other books, so I'm going to finally do it.
Okay. I'm
going to finally do it. Yeah. And those are also there's going to be video options to watch those. John's experimenting with video. We'll see where we go from there, but you'll be able to see them on YouTube.
Yay.
So on our affiliate feeds, we've got Nevermind the Music, where psychology meets music. We've got a new affiliate, Dungeons and Do-Rags. They are also covering House of the Dragon as well. And they also have a video feed on YouTube. Rings and Rituals coming back soon to prep for the next season of Rings of Power. And Silo. Are you going to be tuning into Silo?
Absolutely.
Luke and I will be doing our usual Silo coverage. Actually, we've already started. Wait for that. Yeah, we've already started prepping for the new season. We have screeners, so we're going to make sure.
That's next week, isn't it?
July 3rd is when the first episode drops.
Oh my!
I've seen the first episode, and it's good. It's good. Okay. I'm excited. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited for this season. It's based on it's like the answers are going to start rolling out.
Okay.
I love the book that it's based on, so very excited for this season of Silo. Anyway, you can find that coverage on the separate Will Shift Dust feed. And there's also separate Supercast and Patreon feeds for anyone who wants to help us out a little bit by becoming a subscriber. You will find there ad-free access to all of these episodes, everything we cover. There's also a House of the Dragon character guide. I will put it at the very bottom of the subscriber versions of the show notes. So you can find the link to that House of the Dragon character guide if you are a subscriber, and also you'll get extra episodes. Like we did Hard Boiled for our movie club last month. July is my month. It's wine month. So I'm going to be giving wine recommendations, and we're going to be talking about a wine movie. And Jean, Masters of the Universe soon. We got to see it. I know it's so busy.
Seen it.
You've seen it? Oh no. Oh no.
Seen it.
Oh no. Is this what you're watching?
I got the power.
You got the power. I mean, okay, how do you compare it with the 80s one?
Oh man, that's tough. It's campy. Look, it's fun. It's fun. I think if anyone was a fan of the cartoons, the animation, you'll have a fun watch. Would I tell you to go pay upwards of $20 to see the spectacle? Maybe not, but
you can wait for it to be on streaming.
Yeah, but it's a fun movie. It's not much to think about, not much to wonder about, not much to contemplate. But yeah.
Okay, then I don't feel bad that I still haven't seen it yet.
No.
I'm going to see Toy Story and Supergirl this week.
Yeah. I think those would be priorities over this one.
Yeah. All right.
In my opinion.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to do our musical thank yous. Let's see. I pulled out of the fantasy folder Enemy. Thank you first of all, to our community volunteers, our Dunedain, Hand of the Pod, Nancy, aka 2 Kids, 2 Dogs, Captain of the Polherum, Peter O.H., Keeper of the Show Tracker, Sub-Zero, Lorebrarian, Brian8063, and moderators Brian8063 and Aaron K. Thank you to our Discord server boosters, Aaron K, Tiller the Thriller, Duke71, Athena Ajalea, Stu, Nancy M, Ghost Partition, Radioactive Richard, and Adrian. Thank you to all of our listeners. You make it possible for us to keep doing this. Most of all, our subscribers, especially Lore Master, Samarsh, Michael G, Michelle E, SC, Peter O.H, Nancy M, Duke71, Brian8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Gareth C, Andrew B, Kwang Yu, Nathan T, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Deli V, Gnarls, Kathy W, Liz Stu, Jeffrey B, Elisa U, Ben B, Scott F, Stephen N, Julia F, Kali S, Ilmariel, Rocky Zim, Jessica A, Red Zippy, the TCS, Dopamini, LNR, Mrs. Tennant, AC Wilson, Eli W, Cassie K, Chumbaruni, Katia, Josh Liu, Paintin PDX, Corey G, Quinch, Jenny L, Slavinator, and always last, Adrian. All right. We'll be back with our spoiler discussion, but Jean, what do you want to say to the people who are leaving us now?
Hey, thank you for starting this journey. And please, if you know a Jace, pull him to the side and tell them to chill.
Thank you for listening to the Lorehounds. Please send any questions and feedback to lorehounds@thelorehounds.com or hotd@thelorehounds.com, and check out our Supercast and Patreon feeds for ad-free access and bonus episodes. Look out for all of those links, including links to all other podcasts in our network, in the link tree in the show notes. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities. Okay, if you're still here, we are about to break out full spoilers, and we're going to try to not spend too much time on this because we are running long, but let's start with, we got another voicemail from Dopamini, this time about the characters that's missing, that's being combined into Reina, Nettles.
Hey, Dopamini again. Okay, book stuff. So this again pertains to Reina and Sheep Stealer, and kind of how Reina and Nettles have been folded into one character. I think that the show actually did a really good job at setting up how that story is going to move forward. So Rhaenyra is going to have some very real reasons to be just absolutely furious with Reina. So she obviously did all this damage, the Gullet, unintentionally with Sheep Stealer. Jace is dead, and she has abandoned her post with the younger children. I have a question. Are the children still en route to Pentos? I specifically remember hearing Lady Jane Eyre at the end of last season say that she got a note from Prince Reggio, and the Gay abandoned the ship, was waiting to take them all to Pentos. However, I heard on another podcast that there was like a secret raven that Lady Jane Eyre got, and the kids are actually en route to Dragonstone. So if you guys have any clarification there, I would be very curious to hear about it. In a way, it kind of doesn't matter, because no matter what, they're going to be running into ships, and Reina is not there to protect the kids or the eggs. Although, what protection would she be against pirates? I don't really know, but at any rate, she abdicated her job. So Rhaenyra is going to have so many reasons to be furious with her. And I don't think Dragonstone is going to feel like a welcome place for her. And, we know, that Daemon is going to be coming back from the Riverlands to assist Rhaenyra in the taking of King's Landing pretty soon. And I'm thinking that would be a really good opportunity for Daemon to connect with Reyna and be like, look, it's not very cool for you to be staying here on Dragonstone. You have this dragon. I I can teach you to ride. I can help you with this. Come with me, to the Riverlands, and then we kind of get into the Damon Nettles Reyna dynamic potentially, which in the book is often described as kind of like a father-daughter relationship. So I think they've kind of set that up nicely. And I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that. Thank you guys so much for the question and your insights and for all the hard work you are doing on the podcast. And I'll talk to y'all again soon. Take care. Bye.
About the they're on their way to Dragonstone. That's news to me, unless I missed something on the
Yeah,
show.
I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that either.
Yeah, so I'll say in the book, since we're in the book spoiler section, the book version is that they are caught up in this battle,
Right.
and they don't make it to Pentos. Basically, Aegon, the older of the two, he's got his dragon who's slightly bigger, and he just kind of clings to him and ends up flying back to Dragonstone. Maybe that's what you heard, that Aegon ends up flying back to Dragonstone on this dragon, and the dragon dies, and Aegon is so traumatized he never flies another dragon again after that. But his younger brother is actually kidnapped and taken back to Lys for a while, and in Essos, and then Rhaenyra thinks she's lost two sons, and then only later finds out that he's actually been alive and living over there for ages. So, do you want to? The Eon, our last piece of feedback from Eon is directly about this.
So the change with Rhaenyra's and Daemon's children, Joffrey and Aegon the Younger, not being caught in the Battle of the Gullet was poor because it resulted in them making Jace feel completely unsympathetic and looking like an idiot. The show has enough problems with most of the characters being completely unsympathetic. I gotta agree.
Yeah, that's what we were referring to earlier. Right. We were like, yeah, Jace no longer looks as heroic as he does in the book version, which could be absolutely the case, that a more heroic version is reported in this history book versus what actually happens, which is the whole premise of this show. Right. I don't know. Yeah, I'm also feeling questionable about that. Yeah. About Nettles, what do you think? Okay, so Nettles has been folded into Reyna, and you've made some references to that she might be flying off to bond with her father. What do you think? Like, which direction do you think her stories is going to follow Nettles' story from this path rather than?
I do.
Reyna from the book.
I do. I think she goes to look for her father. One, to your point earlier about her wanting to show she's a true Targaryen by claiming a dragon to show him that she's done that. And two, for help and protection.
Yeah, I was thinking, it always made sense to me that, so this Nettles character ends up flying off and like being with Daemon around Harrenhal, or trying to, hunt down Aemon and Vhagar. And there's some people say they had a father-daughter relationship, so that tracks here. Some people said they had a romance, which could be salacious. I don't think they will go the romance route.
No, I don't think so.
Even with the Alicent kiss, I don't think that's Daemon and Rhaena's vibe at all. But I was wondering, so the implication in the book is that Rhaenyra is jealous of Nettles and Daemon, and that's why one of the reasons why she's like, fuck all the dragon seeds, basically.
Get out of here. Yeah.
I'm wondering if here it ends up being because of what Sheepy did, and Rhaenyra blames her because she's so angry about losing Jace.
I think that's where we're headed. Could be wrong, but I think that's where we're headed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not so much about her and Damon's relationship, but it is about what she's lost.
Yeah. 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 Um, I do the fact that the young Targaryen princes aren't seen or mentioned, I do wonder, like, will they just end up in Pentos, and that's just a way to thin the character herd a bit, and their little baby dragons and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
at this point, that would make the most sense for me.
but then, like, because so Aegon the Younger, sorry, we're doing full spoilers. Aegon the Younger is the one who's going to end up on the throne at the end of all of this,
Of all of this, yes.
followed then by his brother. Um, and is that going to be a meaningful ending if these characters are just off screen for most of the show?
I I think so, because the ending, the show is not about it's because I think it's really Alicent and Rhaenyra's story. So I think everything else that happens
Hmm.
is in service to that. So yeah, I don't think we need. Me personally, I don't need to have them present, throughout every season to feel the story be complete if they ended with the younger on the throne,
Mm-hmm.
because I
Okay.
think the story itself is about Alicent and Rhaenyra,
Right.
and
Right.
not about who ultimately ends up on the throne, but just what they do to each other to get to that point.
Mm-hmm. I do. I mean, we're definitely seeing the turn of Rhaenyra right now. I think the fact that she wasn't at the battle, a lot of people in the book blame her for this battle and all the death. It's like the deadliest battle, I think, in Westerosi history, perhaps. And this, I wonder, I think that they chose the locking her up by her son thing to sort of push her toward the triggering of this Targaryen cruelty gene. Um, that doesn't mean I have to like to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, the big Game of Thrones spoiler that I referenced at the beginning that you may or may not remember is that we hear the whole story of how this ends, and it ends with Aegon feeding Rhaenyra to Sunfire. So, Sunfire, oh, still alive, gonna
Yeah.
learn to fly again, but not well. Not well. Wing does not heal right. Yeah. What do you think about the fact that, so in the book, Aegon ends up hiding out on Dragonstone for this whole, and then Rhaenyra finds out much later she's been under his nose the whole time while she was in King's Landing. Why, if House Staunton, Rhaenyra's supporters, bannermen, have them, why would she not know? Do you think they would turn on her and keep him a secret?
Yes.
Just because everyone turns on everyone?
Yes, just because everyone turns on everyone. There are no true alliances within this world.
Yeah.
Everything is up for grabs. Everything is up to be amended. Everything is up to be twisted and turned in ways that you just don't know. So yes, I can see that happening, where they don't tell her and they just, for promises of something better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that there's reasons Rhaenyra might give them reasons to turn on her. Like if she turns on if we know two of the dragon seeds are going to turn on her, Ulf and Hugh. And then she turns on the rest. So that pisses people off. But also, like this question of whether Tyland is dead. I think one of the worst things she does is when she shows up at King's Landing. That's where you find Tyland in the book, and
Right.
he
Right.
surrenders. And then she has him
She
tortured, like really badly tortured.
yeah. Yeah.
But then he eventually becomes the hand for her son, Aegon the
Hassan.
Younger. So I'm like, I kind of hope Tyland isn't dead, I suppose. But then we know Corlys is going to wash up on the shore next time. We've already seen that in the trailer.
Right.
So, like, do they both wash up? I guess that can happen.
We'll see.
We'll see. I guess that can happen. Yeah.
Keep us guessing, writers.
Yeah.
Keep us guessing.
Do you think Damon's gonna die when there's this thing in the book where he and Aemon fight, and we know Aemon dies because they find his body later, but Damon's body is missing.
In my heart of hearts, I hope Daemon flies off somewhere.
Okay. I thought you were going to say dies horribly.
I told you I'm trying to
All
change.
right, sorry. I mean, I wonder, they're setting up all this Isle of Faces stuff already. We do know that at some point in this series, Adam of Hull is going to head to the Isle of Faces and confer with the Green Men. There is questions about whether Damon ends up hiding out there or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Still things left unanswered.
Still
You
things
know,
left unanswered.
yeah.
I mean, we know. I'm kind of weirdly looking forward to seeing what happens between Eamon and Alice. They get together, and like she is definitely going to feed into his mommy issues thing. I think they cast an actress that looks reasonably like Olivia Cook, and I think that's
Hmm.
why they've been setting all this up to explain why he ends up falling for Alice, presumably. And
Huh.
they have a baby together who some people think will become Brendan Rivers, the three-eyed crow who
The
ends up
three-eyed
teaching Bran.
raven.
Three-eyed raven, yeah, depending on Booker's TV. Um, so I'm very curious where all of that goes. Is there anything else you're especially looking forward to seeing play out?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when Rhaenyra lands in King's Landing.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
probably
I'm
going to
looking.
be really soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really soon. That's the moment that I'm looking,
All right.
because it's going to be a sharp contrast, I think, to our Dragon Queen.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of battles left with really consequential things coming out of them. So I wonder if the next one we'll see is the battle by the lake shore, where we get some heavy
Mm.
winter wolf fatalities. I'm like, wow, they just arrived, but
The Unks
I
of the
think,
North, man. I'm telling
mm,
you,
but it's really hard to see. Like I was trying to predict, where does this end, and some people are saying the Battle of Tumbleton, which is when Hugh and Ulf turn, and I'm
turn
like, but I could even see that happening earlier in the season.
where this season ends. I think it's going to happen earlier. I think
Yeah,
they're going to betray her much earlier than the ending of the season.
I could even see, I don't know, them doing since they're setting up this whole God's Eye thing, I could see them doing that Battle of God's Eye between Damon and Aemond as a season finale.
That is yes,
We'll
yeah,
see, though. I was wrong
yeah.
last season, but then again, I was wrong on a technicality because I do think we know this was going to be the season finale, but
Yeah. I
we'll
think that
see.
that could very well be that final battle. Yeah. Let me not speculate. I don't want to speculate.
All right, all right, all
I
right.
don't want to speculate.
Any final full spoiler thoughts before we end this long ass but thorough introduction back into the world of House of the Dragon?
No. I've got nothing else. Yeah. Yeah. The kids are not all right.
The
That's
kids
so
are
that's
not all right.
it's a spoiler. It's not a spoiler, but it's the goddamn truth. The kids are not all right.
All right. See you all next week to talk about more bad things happening to bad people. Bye.